Red flags.
Mud Mobs.
Hello and welcome. I'm Reprobate Gamer. You can call me Rep, and I welcome you to this next session here at the Emerald Collective. I won't be your GM today, as per on a Sunday. Instead, I'm handing the reins over to the warm-hearted and thoughtful Wayne Talbot, helming us through this mini Daggerheart campaign. I shall hand things over to our esteemed guest in one moment, but I've been handed a list of things to bring to your attention before that point. We stream live plays several days a week, most often Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, with the occasional bonus here and there, such as tonight. And on the schedule this week, we start on Tuesday in Andromedus. The party have delved deep into Rurik Emberdeep's tomb, unlocking ancient dwarven wards and uncovering signs of foul tampering. Now they stand before the goblin boss guarding the sealed path to Kazam. But all is not well, as two among them have begun hearing whispers and are seeing things the others cannot. Sounds like they may have had a bit too much to use, if you ask me. But GM Carrick is in
Yes.
charge of our party for that one. Then on Thursday, Rebirth of the Graven King continues. Our heroes have defeated Shazasfar, one of the minions of the son of the Graven King. He was a bitch. But somewhere out there lurks the Shard, a construct of pure obsidian. I'm in trouble now. With one mission to hunt them down, destroy them. Can they find a weapon powerful enough to hold this thing at bay, or will they fall beneath its terrible power? GM for that one is our very own GM Dave, who is somewhere in this thing around me. My Twitch just conked out at that very moment, so don't worry, he's on the windows. And then on Friday, we have a special little bonus as we welcome back community member Shane to the GM chair. He'll be running the Winghorn Press one shot, a wild sheep chase. When the party is approached by a sheep carrying a speak with animal spell scroll in its mouth, you know the party will end up enjoying bad puns. Beyond that, we have long other running actual plays. Keep posted to our socials. I'll put my teeth in to keep up to date along with any off-stream games. You can also continue the link over on our Discord server. Details on all the socials, including Discord and those dad jokes down below. For those who are watching regularly to the stream, get yourself settled in, get those fingers ready. Those who join us for the first time, we thank you for joining us and hope you enjoy the ride. All you need to do is just watch, but if you want to influence the game, you can use channel points, Twitch bits, and subs to provide boons, healings, and even fear and hope in this game. Why fear and hope? Well, let me hand the reins over to our GM. Wayne, take it away.
Thank you very much, Rep. Welcome everyone to the latest episode of this Daggerheart mini-series here on the Collective. So yes, fear and hope, they are the two defining factors within this game. The players use hope in order to act out their adventures, and as a GM, I use fear to try and stop them, basically. So where we last left off, the group had been in the City of Parliament, some seeking counsel, literally and figuratively, and some seeking magic and power. And the group collectively found both, but not in a way that they probably thought they would. Um, our Dave, player Dave, who plays James Hetfield, seemed to have made a pact with a demonic essence or presence to build up his bardistic talents, while the rest of the group, Dog, who was then accosted by members of the Circle, a criminals organization, while Paradox, Lanifair, and Ramble met with the City Council of Parliament in order to make them aware of the destruction of the 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 parade of creatures known as, the name is escaping me now because I'm trying to remember. Paradox, the name of the folks that
Cavalcade?
you were
Wayne?
from, the
Cavalcade.
cavalcade, that's
Cavalcade.
the word.
Yeah.
I knew it was Cade of some sort. The cavalcade had been
Kind of some
destroyed.
sort, like his
Paradox
inspiration.
coming from that group, um, in order to make the council aware. The cavalcade are very much an integral part of the natural order within the realm of Horizons Hollow, which is where we find ourselves. The group were then set upon by what seems to be a heavy demonic force trying to stop them on their adventure, trying to stop them, alerting the council, trying to stop them from helping the world of Horizons Hollow get through this disastrous moment and this horrible situation that the world of nature finds itself in. Forced to flee the City of Parliament, they stepped through a portal gate, which was conjured by 2 members of the council. And that is where we last left them. We now find them a few hours later, sitting on the edge of a very dense forested area, about a day's travel from the dream sphere. They are catching their breath, sitting around the campfire for the most part. Now, the group are going to individually tell us what they're doing with their characters in this moment in time. But this particular mechanic within the realm of Dagger, in the kind of mechanic of Daggerheart, is called downtime. And it's done in a way where the group can roleplay certain scenarios, can undertake certain tasks, and look to do some things that they want to do with their characters together as a group, so on and so forth. So within downtime, party can choose to rest before continuing forward on their journey. And when they do, each player character has a chance to make 2 different downtime moves. So as we see this group now, there is a small fire that has been started by one of the adventurers, be it Paradox or Ramble, who are the more well-traveled and worldly members of the group. But there's been a small campfire set, and the packs of the group are laden about the place. Bedrolls are kind of unfurled, and it's very much a place where the group are planning to set down for the night. Paradox, what are you doing in this moment, in this downtime? What is this something you wish to attend to?
Yeah, so at this moment, while everybody's setting up their like bedrolls, tents, and the likes, Paradox doesn't have a tent or bedroll. He doesn't use them. So he's actually taken it upon himself to disappear into like a nearby thicket of trees or brush with his bow drawn, and he's going to find food because we didn't have a chance to grab supplies before we jumped through this portal.
Okay. So, in this moment, as your character, as Paradox, I want you to give me a roll in order to see how well you do on this. So,
Yes.
with Paradox, given your, do you want to? So again, just to refresh everyone in this situation, when you do a roll within Daggerheart, you've got a couple of different options ahead, in front of you. You have what's called an experience. So this will allow you to give a bonus to your roll, and you spend a hope in order to use your experience. Now I'm going to ask for, in this moment, I'm going to ask for either you can give me an instinct roll, so it's either a perceive or a navigate, depending on how you're doing this. And if you want to use any of your experiences, you can spend a hope and put that against it as well.
Yeah, if you give me 2 seconds here. Sorry, my demi plane is just loading up again because
No
it
problem at all.
refreshed.
While he's doing
Just-
that, I'm just going to remind everyone that we have untethered tents, so we will all gain 1 hope back, regardless of what downtime activity we pick.
There we go. So is that
Wonderful.
something that Ramble has brought
That
to
is
the
something
mix?
Ramble brought, untethered tents. That's what he picked up from the armories at
Yes. So they were
Parliament.
items that the group, that Lanafir and Ramble, I think Paradox went to
Yep.
a kind of the council's quartermaster and produced these items for them. So yeah. So just to confirm as well, can everyone hear the music?
I can't at the minute, I'll be honest.
There is music playing through Demi playing or through Roll20 at the moment, so
I
should
might
be.
not be. Huh.
I
Let me look
think,
into my
yeah,
settings.
I think, as I said, Wayne, because with the Daggerheart integration, I was forced to make a new, like, remake the game.
Yeah, so I'm playing it through the new reintegrated game. So I have all the
Yeah,
music loaded up into that one. So
nothing
I'm
seems to be
playing music
playing
through
currently.
it. So
I don't hear anything either.
Yeah, the
okay,
jukebox says nothing's playing currently.
okay. I'm in the same game as everyone else. I think maybe I'm not. Technical difficulties, the joy of
I
streaming.
cannot see you in the game.
Yeah, actually, I can't see you in this game, to be fair.
We can all join the other game for the sake of music,
Oh, okay.
if that's what we want, because I am happy to. So
Yeah.
we'll go into Daggerheart Dice Roll, 'cause
Sure,
I
I
like the
can.
music, because there's no sense in
Dan
getting
by chat.
Wayne to reload all the music. I've got music now. Excellent.
1 sec, yeah, I'm doing the same.
Thanks for
Kate,
asking
you
for.
can
So it's good to
log
know.
into the other one probably then.
Yes, I'm doing it.
Thank you.
Nice guys. So Paradox,
yeah.
when you have a second, give me an L roll there for your hunter gatherer moments.
Yeah, 2 seconds because I just need to reopen my sheet through
Not a
Daggerheart
problem
now.
at all. So, just as a recap as well, just to go through some of the mechanics here for downtime. So, there's no dead air here. The great thing about this particular thing is that people can choose to do certain things, but you don't have to just do a basic kind of like I heal myself or that. You can also undertake projects. So, if you want to work on something here, you can spend your expertise in your dice roll. I think, Ramble, you had chosen you were going to do a project, weren't you, at some point?
I do have a project in mind, yes, on this one, which I can
And
start
is
going
it-
through if you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
okay.
Ramble, his main weapon is a hallowed axe, which does magical damage. So his intent will be through faith and prayer to his god Mahavira as being a seraph, and through his tinkering abilities, he's looking to upgrade his axe. That's his
Now-
that'll be his ongoing project. He appreciates something immediate, but the fact it's magical means he doesn't necessarily.
And that's
which I'm hoping.
And that's the great thing. So that's that kind of experience piece where even if it's a short mini series like we're doing now, or if it's a campaign, you can have these projects that you have on the go that every time you have a moment in downtime, be it short rest or long rest, you can attend to this project and build on it and build on it. And there can be what's called a countdown mechanic that the GM and the player will work on together. And then over time, as you do your dice rolls, as you do your work on it, then it would then bolster and feed into that project. So it's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
with that in
I-
mind, so Paradox, you're
Yeah,
You ready
I'll
to go?
roll now. Yeah, so I'm going to use my experience, which is expert tracker. So he's
Okay.
probably
Nice.
picked up on some tracks of some animals, and he is following them down
Yeah.
with hopefully, little effort. Oh, 10 of fear. So he succeeded. He found them, but probably scared them.
yeah. Where's my notebook? Okay, so I get a fear on that one. Good to know.
Not again.
I rarely roll with
Stop it!
fear. This never happens to me.
This is a fear factory we're in.
Stop
We've learnt this.
Giving him fear. He has too much of it.
I feel like it's usually James and Dog that give him fear the most.
Yeah.
Well, given it's a fear factory from this day, it's going to be you. So there we go. There's a little song reference. For
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
so you can put in James' thing. So, okay. So, with a 10 with fear, it's kind of strange actually, Paradox. As you're walking through these, you know these woods. You've traversed these lands before. But there's a sense about this place now that feels different. And it's only been a few days since you left the remnants of the cavalcade and went to Parliament, but these forests feel strange. Like there's a weirdness to them, and I mean that. Like it's not that there's an evil here, or it doesn't. It smells differently, but there's a strange feeling, and you get a glimpse of something moving off to your right, and something skitters through a bush, and you hear like a kind of a strained, like a chirp, but it's like it sounds garbled and like guttural. And you know the wildlife that lives in this area. So you have the usual conies, kind of deer-like creatures. They kind of that frequent this, not dangerous creatures in any way, shape, or form. Very much can be used for sustenance, good proper protein. But that noise doesn't sound right to you. And it's just off to your right as you're moving through and stalking through the forest.
Yeah, so if that's the case, then he's going to try carefully get line of sight on it.
Okay.
He might actually climb a tree, like there himself, like get up into the elevated position and try see if he can see into the bushes where it is.
Cool. Give me an agility roll there, so you can give me a leap roll.
Yep. Let me see.
And again, if you want to spend any hope and add an experience that you can do as well, just to get a good roll.
Yeah, I might use my cavalcade ranger experience just because leaping and climbing trees and stuff. That'll be a +4 total.
Jumping, climbing trees, as the Diazard says.
12 +4. It's 17 with hope. Oh, yeah, 17 with hope.
What 70 with hope? Okay. So
Hell yeah.
you deftly just silently just bump up this tree in like 2 leaps, and you're up there and you're in the branches and you're looking down, and you pluck the kind of the shrubbery and the bushes that whatever this creature is moving in, and you see another blur as it darts across the path, the kind of the roughly hewn path that's in this forested area, And you're not too far from the camp. Like you're about 15, 20 minutes from the camp. You've kind of stalked into the forest. Hasn't got that far. And you kind of make it out. And it's like a blur of kind of what looks like purplish mottled fur. And it's a creature that it looks like it's some form of rabbit-esque creature with long ears and long stretchy hind legs. It leaps between bushes.
Hey, purple fur. It's a poison type. Yeah, so can I try as it's running? Paradox is just gonna reach in his bow, like his little one hand. He's gonna reach out with another hand, and vines from a nearby bush are just gonna like transform into like a snare and snap out its legs as I use my vicious entangle spell.
Okay, yeah, cast the spell.
Yeah, so that's a spellcast roll is what 2d8 or 2d12 plus 2 then I assume.
Vicious entangle is +2 to spellcast roll, and the damage roll is 1d8 plus 1. But just roll your d12.
16 with fear, and then
16 with fear. Okay. So the snares kind of like you watch as the bush, and this is the strange thing. Your spell catches, and it's the usual sense that you reach out, you cast the spell, and it catches. But there's like dust that puffs out of the bushes where these vines reach out and do ensnare this creature. And you hear that same guttural sound as they wrap themselves around your prey, and it drags it in. But those snares, those usual vines that you throw out, they have sharp, barbed thorns on them for some reason, and they grab into the creature that writhes in pain. And there's a splash of ichor on the ground, dark, and it seems to steam slightly as it does so.
Okay, so Paradox wouldn't be one to leave an animal in pain, so he will carefully get close, and then he's going to find, I suppose, a hefty enough rock and just.
Okay. You kind of you jump down.
Oh, actually, no, he has knives. He's just going to.
I was gonna say,
Actually, he doesn't need to bash it with a rock.
God damn.
Paradox pulls out the tie, Ryan.
This isn't roadkill, it's fine.
You kind of jump down and step closer to this creature, and as you get closer, there's that same weird stench. Like,
can Paradox even smell though, being a clank?
I think I don't know. It's your call. It's your character.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't breathe. He doesn't breathe, but he probably does have receptors. So
olfactory receptors.
Yeah, he's not likely to breathe in a noxious gas and be like, "Oh shit!" But he's.
But you can recognize smells.
Yeah. So you kind of get this weird. It's kind of like strangely overripe fruit that seems to waft into your nostrils. And as you get closer, you see this creature, and it looks like what it should be. Those rabbity coney type creatures that live in these areas, but this one seems to have mutated in some form, as the front of its face is kind of elongated with a snout, but there are large tendrils just out the front of it as the barbed kind of snares tighten around it. It's not dying. It's not heavily injured. Those barbs just kind of seem to have jabbed into it to hold on to it more. But it's kind of like, and it's trying to, and it sees you. And usually in those moments, you've caught conies before.
Yeah.
You've caught jackrabbits before. There's that fear that a creature. This creature does not have fear. This creature just is. The eyes are just angry. And you see its mouth receptors are just like flittering out. It's like its mouth is wide open, and these things are just
Monty Python all over again.
That's how it started.
Yeah, no. One of the throwing knives he's got earlier just like flicks, he flicks it with one hand and catches it in the other, and he just brings it down on this thing's head. Like he grabs, shuts the snout, and then into its temple-like area, just a quick clean.
Okay, grand. So you just literally quickly do that, and you're kind of taken aback by the strange situation in front of you. Yeah. This is not the norm for these lands. This is strange.
So the influence of the dream sphere is potentially spreading.
Well, in this situation, I need you to give me a roll on this. I want you to give me a perceive roll.
Perceive. Okay, that's what do I have now? Perceive. That's +1.
Yeah.
Start here 2d12.
So find out he's never actually been hunting for conies before, and these are the normal conies in this area, and he's just always caught the mutants that
They're
aren't the normal ones the
bloodthirsty.
rest of us are used to.
It's 8 with hope.
Hey, with hope. Yeah, you look around and you're noticing very, very localized changes in the flora and fauna. And off in the distance you hear that skittering again as something else moves amongst the brush. And you're kind of in the back of your mind, you're kind of going, this isn't normal. Something is affecting this. The natural order is already starting to shift. And whatever you're kind of remembering because like being you doing this, you're remembering the history of the conclave. You're remembering everything that's happened in the past. And you're kind of going, this is why the conclave exists, to keep this natural order in place.
Yeah.
And the fact that
The cavalcade, you mean, right?
sorry, yeah, the cavalcade, sorry, cavalcade is no longer here. You're already starting to see why
Yeah.
they are needed.
Okay, so Paradox is going to take this back, but he is going to first pull it out with the thorns, like cut the thorns, cut it off. He's going to get to a clearing a bit far away from anything. He's going to probably try clean it and butcher it here just to make sure it isn't very clearly inedible.
Okay. And we kind of cut away from Paradox as his blade starts to slice into this animal. And we cut back to the campfire where Lanafear, what are you doing in this moment?
I think Lanafear is doing their best to get wood for the fire. They're very excited. They're very keen to help. But she is small. She has wings that can carry her weight. Not so much the firewood. So she's just she kind of carries like one or two logs at a time. And it's kind
Ramble
of a
has learnt over
cardio-
the years he has much time to get his meditations in while the fire is slowly being built.
It's slowly being built. Everyone has to contribute somehow. She's doing her best. So I think she's that's the first thing that she does. She tries to help with the fire. And then once she's plumb tuckered out, she just kind of flops down in front of the fire and starts to take out her field notes, like her journals. She's very excited to be out in the field again, despite the direness of the situation. It's kind of like just this is my passion. This is my calling. This is what I'm here for. I can do something here, and it's kind of like coming back home. And I think for the first while, she fills out a couple of pages in her journal, kind of reflecting on today's events and the goings on in camp. And as she touches upon the most recent events, I think at this point she kind of stops and then goes back to writing. But at the same time, she reaches out telepathically to Dog. Still under not the illusion, but she's still writing, but she is communicating with Dog at this point. Like, Mr. Dog, use your inner voice. This is Lan. This is Lanafear. Please don't be afraid. You can't respond.
Mr. Dog.
Yes.
That's a first.
I'm sorry. That is your name, correct?
No,
Did I
no,
misunderstand? Oh, okay.
No, that's all right. It's all right. Just don't think anybody's ever called me Mister before.
Oh, well, I can use another title if you'd wish. Sir Dog, Night Dog, Bodyguard Dog, the one and only dog. I'm very flexible.
Says, Mr. Dog will do just fine, but I assume you're not talking to me in my head to discuss titles.
We can if you want to, but no, you're quite correct. Those are very, very good instincts. No, I just wanted to I wanted to have a word with you in regards to today's events. I wanted to know how you are feeling. I feel like we haven't really had the time to discuss things that we've seen so far, and I just wanted to know how you were doing.
Well, much like being called Mister, it's not a question I get often.
Oh.
It's quite the mess. Though I've been on this side of the law for quite some time. I think Dog knows that what she's asking is more about James. He wants to have his own conversation with James at some point. I will say, if we go back, while Lanafir she would have caught Dog while, and one of the things I was going to do in downtime, just to take the sort of prepare move, is he has his sharpening stone, and he's putting a new edge on all of his weapons and anyone else's. Really, he's been sitting near on maybe the opposite side of the fire to Lanafir, and had been
what I'll
doing
allow
this.
here is so prepare is a part of one of the things you can do in this moment. And prepare also if you're preparing with another party member, you actually gain 2 up. So I'm actually going to count this as a preparation moment between yourself and Lanafir, because the two of you are kind of together in this moment, and you're kind of focused on sharpening blades, and Lanafir is actually in the middle of documenting everything, and that's something Lanafir would do.
Yeah, when Lanafir brought up the field notes, I had the idea that Dog would actually, I think, even prior to this, when it seemed that she was finished doing her work, like he was finished doing his preparation, that he was going to maybe ask her a few questions about her field notes. He's looking at it more from the side of things of, so these things out here, how do you kill, Jabberwocky, how
do we kill the Jabberwocky?
Oh,
well, I certainly hope we won't be doing any of that. I much rather, I observe from afar. I try to give a respectful birth to the natural life here. I try not to intervene, but I see, and she kind
you
of
don't need a blade sharpened or anything.
Oh no, I have my staff. I was quite excited.
I could whittle
I haven't used that spell before, and it was the first time using it, so I was a bit nervous. I didn't know if it would work or not, but it was quite effective.
I thought you acquitted yourself quite well in a fight. So
now,
I wouldn't.
Can I ask? This conversation right here, is this happening in the head?
Yeah, this is happening telepathically.
He's looking.
Forwards?
Yeah.
He's not lifting his head. He's still sharpening. So he's just looking.
In this moment, James, I need you to give me a perceive roll, but I don't need you to add your presence to it. I need you to add a +4 to it. Just give me the perceive roll and add 4.
Coming at you like Cleopatra. So perceive
don't
roll.
need to add your presence. I wonder whose presence James will be adding.
So I have +1 on instinct. Do I get to add that?
1 second, sorry.
Okay.
So on instinct, no. So you don't.
It's just a flat +4.
Just add. So you instead of a +1 instinct, you're adding a +4 instinct. So even if you just add 3 to it, I don't know.
Can I spend hope on this? You can spend hope.
No,
no. Okay,
but you can spend one of my fears.
Oh, excellent! So that gives me what, a +D6?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll roll 2d12.
I knew he was the villain.
Thank you, sir.
We're gonna jump James and we can't find out.
There you go. That's
it's happening.
Well,
oh wow!
So
I love the mechanics of this game because it's so malleable.
So
malleable.
So hold on. So that's a 12, 13, 19 with hope.
Okay. So 19 with
Four,
hope.
23 with hope.
Sorry.
Okay.
You had a 4 to that as well, don't
Oh,
you?
sorry. Yes,
Plus four.
23 with hope. Of
Oh,
course.
the
Sorry.
plus
23
yeah.
with hope. So take the hope. You take
Thanks,
the
Rob.
hope. But you
I'm
watch
swimming in
James.
hope.
So James,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna presume you're sitting somewhere at this campfire at the moment with
Yes.
the loot out, plucking away, doing your thing.
Yeah.
And you haven't seen Silt since the moment in the tavern where he had his head bounced off the
Yeah.
table by Tana. And you look up and you're just looking across the flames of the campfire. And you can just see Dog sharpening his blades, and Lanafir is writing in their book. Ramble is off doing Ramble things, preparing his stuff, and Paradox is off trying to find food. And as you look up through the flames, you just see appearing out of the smoke and the darkness the leather-clad form of Silt as he starts to stalk around the campfire. As he walks past Dog, brushes his hand across his back, gestures towards Lanafir, and as he gestures, he produces a lute of his own, and he sits down on an ethereal tree stump next to you and just starts to pluck at his own lute and gives you a nod and says, "Evening." And
What
then he's
is
just
the
sitting
tune?
there.
One of mine, or is it fucking amazing?
He is just tuning. That's all he's doing. Like, he's just in scales at this moment.
Oh god damn. Okay.
And that just happens. But he, like, with that high roll, you notice that he paid close attention to Dog,
Mhm.
and then paid close attention to Lanafir, and looked between the two of them, and then sat down next to you, and then didn't say anything. But he was definitely giving them attention in some form or other.
Okay.
Dog and Lanafir, I need you to give me your perceive roll, please. Both.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask, did
Yeah, because he
the
definitely
wind
ran his
just
hand
brush?
along your back. And actually, Dog, you're not arcane in any way, are you?
No,
No, okay.
he's
I was gonna-
nah,
if you
he's
were, I
bog
was going to
standard.
give you
He's-
advantage.
he
but you're
has
bog
a-
standard.
I
No.
think he's the
On the
only
contrary, he actually has a-
than arcane.
yeah, he has a bit of a distrust of magic.
Yeah, I think he's the only one with
Yeah.
absolutely no magic whatsoever. 'Cause
Yeah,
Paradox is a small bit.
You said
Lanafir,
perceive.
Lanafir, I'll give you
No.
advantage on this. You can add a d6 to your roll.
Perfect. Thank you. So that makes 8 total.
Sorry. I gotta do
Oh, wait, I need to re-roll that because
12. It's only +1. What is it? Oh, I'm going to disable this. It wants me to do the click and drag.
there we go. That's a 28 with
No.
hope.
28
That is
with hope.
8 with fear.
8 with fear. 8 with fear.
Mm.
I'll mark the one that James used. So, Lanafir, as you're writing and you're conversing with Dog, you just feel this cold sense from up your back, up your spine. You see the fire kind of blow slightly in a windless glade. There's no wind here, but there is, and you just see the smoke kind of wisp and twist up for a second, and really swear it forms the shape of a person before then just blowing off in the distance blowing off in the direction towards James, who's just plucking on his lute, looking up at the both of you. And you kind of get the sense that
Yeah.
it's that feeling like you're being watched. The chitin on the back of your neck stands on end, and it's like, oof. And it's strange. But James just seems to be in his own little world, doing his own little thing. You hear him kind of humming lyrics under his breath. And Dave, feel free to add flavor to that if you wish.
Yeah, he is. So this isn't his downtime thing. This is just him.
Yeah,
him
no, this
doing
is
his
just a
thing.
moment.
Oh, this is a moment, yeah.
I'm interweaving these moments together.
That's
just to
okay,
make
yeah.
it
Yeah.
more fluid.
So yeah, well, he
Yeah.
would be just. Yeah, he's coming up with new riffs and he's coming up with new melodies, and he seems to be in a sort of a creative, sort of surge at the moment. I would hope, given that he's made a deal, with Silt Records, and signed a new record contract. Yeah, so he is. He's writing some new riffs. He's writing them down, and he's got his notes out. But he does have a stack of pages. From there, they would be small enough. Maybe about that. He's got a stack of notebooks that he always carries with him. And I'll get into that later on when we go to James's downtime. But they're there. They're ready to go. They're well away from the fire, and he's yeah. He's. I mean. Yeah.
Lanafear and Dog, is there anything else you just want to expand on in your conversation? Did you want to continue on the conversation? This is just something that's happening in the moment. That's all as this is kind of unfolding.
Yeah, I think as Lanafear feels that sort of that chill down the spine, sort of remembers feeling not very often, but a similar kind of power of magic, sort of perception that's occurring outside of herself. She stops for a moment and kind of as she's just closing her little book. Mr. Dog, I want to say I don't mean to pry, but there is no delicate way of asking, so I will simply... Oh, we lost me. 2 seconds.
No worries.
Yeah. Can still.
She had warning that she knew.
Yeah.
Still.
There we go.
We're back. Sorry about that. Camera just lost connection for a second. Let me resume.
Sorry, this is.
From my understanding, I would think that Mr. James is a friend of yours, and being that he is your friend, I wouldn't want any harm to come upon him. I obviously want the best for him. He seems like a very passionate man. He's very energetic. I understand the passion, the energy, and wanting to give all of yourself to what you love. But I very much have a strange feeling, and I'm simply saying that I would not want any bad to fall upon you, and if the time should come to make a decision, I do just want you to know that I do trust that you know what you have to do. And I think that's not what she means. I know that you seem to care for him, and I think you seem like the type of person who do what needs to be done for their friend. That's really all I wanted to say. If I'm sorry, I tend to ramble a little bit. Yes.
Dog is silent. Yes, is silent.
Rumble's
for,
over
you know,
there.
a few seconds. He's.
No, wait, that's ramble.
I'm sure the others aren't stupid either. They know something's happened. You don't know us very well. So, you've no reason to trust James. No reason to trust me. For what it's worth, whatever has happened, and for the record, I don't know. And I intend to have a little chat with James myself, but for what it's worth, in my estimation, as much as you can know another person, he's always struck me as a good fellow. You know more about magic and all that than I do. But yeah, when the time comes, if something needs to be done, I'll do it myself.
You know, I find that
I
there's so
own that
many
much.
reasons that we can't trust someone, but I'd rather look for the one reason that you can. So I'm making that choice.
I'm not saying If James isn't James anymore, I'm not saying I'm not going to try, get him back, but just for your sake, for the others, because, if it was your lives on the line, like I said, it'll fall to me. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to see anybody die because of me and James.
Well.
Saying that, this is all hypothetical.
Of course. Of course.
For all I know, he had some bad whiskey. And he's just a little out of sorts.
He ate something a little spicy.
In the jar.
She's just having a hard time digesting it. I believe you, Mr. Dog. I think things will turn out as they are supposed to. I believe that as well.
No. It's very nice for you, Lanifer.
Oh, that's it.
That sounded
Very-
like it sounded a lot more harsh than he meant it to, but he's really like, I think genuinely in his head he's like, that is a nice thing to be able to believe. And
Ever the optimist.
he says getting a bit of a cramp sitting here. I'm gonna stretch my legs.
And Lanifer will end politely, of course, just end the connection, the telepathic connection.
So just a reminder for everyone in the downtime as well, it's a great time to look at your domain deck and look at your cards, and if there's anything you want to swap out, you can also do that too for anything that's not in use at the moment, so be aware of that. As Dog stands up,
Is
we
there a
follow
way
him
to do
as
that on Demiplane?
I think you just go in.
Don't think we're high enough level to have.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything.
To have multiples. I don't think you have, but just if there's anything you want to look at, just be aware of that. Just as a mechanic as well. If we haven't gotten to there yet as level wise, that's fine. But it is also a mechanic as part of the downtime. You can swap out the main cards. Dog stands up away from the fire to go stretch his legs, and we follow him away. And we see Ramble then standing or sitting off in a corner next to a tree stump. And you're working on your axe. And in this moment, Ramble, what exactly do you want to do? What way are you approaching the axe itself in this moment?
So I'm situated somewhere where I can keep Lanifer and James in my eye line. Although they're not the focus of what we're doing, but I'm watching those two because I know what James can do, but I don't know James.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And Lanifer's got that little extra buzz to her wings when she's excited, and that's always nice to hear. So I'm starting this journey happy because she always has that nice little extra buzz to things. It's always just that cheerful, that note always start of a new adventure. But at the minute he has the axe out in front of him. He is cross-legged. He's seen actually up in a tree because it gets him a bit nearer to heaven. And he is now focusing back on the works of Mahavira, how he was ascended to heaven, and he is concentrating that thought process, the beginning of tuning the axe, I guess.
Yeah,
starting to kind of work on the weave within it to pull some of that in.
You can give me a roll here on this one. You can use your finesse roll, and if you want to use any hope to use your tinkerer experience as well, I think it would fit.
Yes, I will. So finesse. I'll use one hope to use tinkerer, and I will probably add one of my prayer dice to it as well.
Good stuff.
Nice.
So that is
Roll the dice.
2d12 plus 2. That is a 20 with fear.
Okay, take the fear. Thank you very much. You're working on this on your weapon. This is a weapon that you've used for years, and it's something you've always worked on and kept up and kept sharpened and added things to, and you've wanted to kind of progress its keenness as an axe and also its versatility and your use of it. It's like an extension of yourself. And you sit here cross-legged in this tree and the kind of the foliage around you, um, you're you're kind of like your senses stretch out and you stare to the heavens slightly and you can see that the stars, it's a clear night sky as you're sitting high in this tree in the canopy. And it is a clear night sky, but you can't help but notice off to the east that pinkish purplish hue in the far distance of the dream sphere as it emanates through the night. Like kind of like it's like the aurora borealis, kind of the shifting across the night sky in different hues of purples and pinks and blues. And as you attend to the axe, your mind drifts and you sniff the air as you do this, and you sense that weird essence similar to what Paradox sensed earlier on, but obviously you're not aware that he had found this yet. But you can sense that there's something wrong about the nature around you. You have a
The
keen sense of
flow's
these things.
changed in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's not right. And as you work, you're kind of working into the axe, and it pushes you on to right. This is something I can control. This axe is something I can meld and form into something for good for me to use, and it will fight whatever's going on out here, and it will give me a focus. And you're able to produce, like you can sharpen this, and what'll happen here is as part of your project, it does move it on, but it also gives you the prepare option. So you get it, you're doing this yourself, so you gain a hope, and you also sharpen the axe quite well. So you can add a +1 to your attack on this on the next
Yay.
time round. Okay, because you rolled quite high.
Just on the next hit. Sorry, was that on that? Or was that?
Oh, +1 on your next hit. Yes, on your
Yeah.
next time you hit with it, the first hit is a +1 to hit.
Cool.
And you
Nice.
kind of like your senses are stretched out across the forest here, and which you're high in the tree line, and you look out, and you would usually see some form of bird or flying creature in the night sky, and you notice it's eerily quiet here, and the sounds you are hearing for the forest are unnatural and strange to you. Now you've walked this land before, but you haven't. I don't know how well traveled Ramble is in these parts. Like you've moved through here to get to Parliament.
Yeah, we've
Um,
never. Lanafir always wants to explore this bit more, and we're always having to go to and fro and past it because we always either get to a site or get the notes back. We've never actually stopped.
So it's and you're not too far. You notice as you're sitting here and give me a perceive roll, please. Actually,
For sure. Perceive. That is a straight roll for me, I think. Yeah. I'm sure that's going to be absolutely fine. That is a 3 with fear.
I'll take the fear. You're too engrossed in your work on the axe, and that scent, that kind of overripe fruit smell that is now invading your nostrils is distracting you, and you kind of are wondering, it's strange here, and I don't like it, and you don't think too much on it. You focus more on the axe.
Yeah.
And you're looking down, and you see that dog has just gotten up away from the campfire, and Lanavir is still writing in her book, and James seems engrossed in his music. And Paradox is going to be making their way back to the campfire sometime soon. Is there anything else you want to do in this moment? Is there anything else you want to prepare for? Is there anything else you want to do with a long rest? Because as a long rest, everyone can take 2. Also take 2 of these options. You can take 10 to all wounds, clear all stress, repair all armor, prepare, or work on a project. So you've worked on a project. You can do one other thing, and everyone else can look to do one other thing as well. Now we don't have to role play it. You can just say, "I've done this." And
I mean,
it's done.
he'll be available if someone wants him to assist with them, if there's something they need, if they wanted to have someone extra help build hope. If not, he'll just do a prepare option and
Okay.
might just try and touch him with Lanafir before they bed
Would
down.
Would the hunting, what would that count as for that then? Would that be a prepare?
I'm going to count that as a prepare, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, if
I could
nothing else, he'll
then
just
do
get the food. If Paradox brings back food, Ramble will cook it up. If nothing else, but yeah, essentially he'll take the prepare unless someone wants him. He's available if needed. He doesn't need to repair his armor. He doesn't need to deal with stress, HP, or hope. So
Cool.
he's
Okay.
available as needed.
Ramble's office hours are 8 p.m. to midnight tonight again.
Seraph is in.
And we follow Ramble's eye line down to the campfire as he looks at Lanafir and his dog walks away. And then we move across to James as he sits there, plucking on his lute, looking at his notes. And Silt has just sat down beside him, everyone else unaware, mostly, of his presence.
Yeah. For James' downtime, so is downtime different to a long rest, or is it the same thing?
Same thing. It's a long
Same
rest,
thing.
but you get to do these. You have these options available to you
Okay.
to do
So
something.
I think I need to. I've hit points. I've tracked up 1 hit point, so I've 1 yellow one there, that I would like to clear. But I also think my armor is at 3. I've 1 armor slot used.
Okay.
So would that be my whole long rest?
So you can to do both. You could do that, but there's going to be you can do some role play in this as well. Like,
Yeah, cool.
They'll be the 2 tasks that you're going to undertake. So
Okay, so cool ability. So I'll clear the armor slot and the HP slot then, if that's all right.
cool ability. Yeah, it's no problem.
My thing. So he'll patch up a wound and he'll tend to his armor. But the most important thing to him right now is his notebooks. Now he's only just learned about record deals, like real record deals, the one he's just signed, and he's going to go through all of his notes, which are collections of lyrics from other hard, heavy rock bards that he's heard, like say, like whoever, like, but he has written all of their lyrics down, and a lot of those lyrics, like, because they're metal as fuck, they deal with demons and crossroads. So this is his only way of researching what Silt might be, through the lyrics of other hard rock bards. So he's writing new music, hopefully that he's hearing Silt play, because if he doesn't get new tunes out of this fucking deal, and then as far as he's concerned, the deal's off. But he's a very simplistic way of looking at things, so but that's just his mindset right now. So but yeah, he wants to know a little bit more. Would you like to know more? He would like to know more.
Silt has sat down beside you, and after tuning his ethereal lute, he does start in on a couple of tunes, and it starts off silent and quiet and low at a moment, and then it starts to build, and they're melodic, but they do have chunk behind them as well.
Okay,
think of this as an unplugged session type of thing situation.
Nice. Yeah.
So he is playing along, and you find yourself like he becomes the rhythm, the guitar to your lead.
Yeah.
And he's laying down these kind of rhythms that you're adding licks to, and you're building upon.
And these are new.
These are new.
Oh fuck yeah! Okay, I mean,
these are something you haven't heard before.
All the way.
And
he's
nodding to you, and he's like, last we saw each other, boy, there was a bit of a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
You saw something that I wasn't expecting you to see. Tell me, what do you believe me as an entity to represent?
And he's going to phrase these answers into what will sound like to the rest of the party as lyrics, and he'll go, the essence of a deal, sell your soul for the yeah. And it's just it starts off with these weird, like, it's threads of nothing, and is I really like metal, fuck yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of yes. He will drop the answers in, and without trying to do that myself right now, he will communicate is that he's like to him he's just signed another record deal, except like he has to sort of. It's layaway. It's fucking. It's higher purchase. Like he doesn't have to pay until he dies, and when he dies, he doesn't believe in life after death. He's an atheist. So like for him, this is fucking win-win.
Yeah.
But he's
So-
like he would be keen to sort of sign on with Silt and say that he's already forgotten about what happened, in case this is an arrogance thing on Silt's behalf, because he's seen rock stars make a fool of themselves and nobody talks about it the next day,
Sure.
and so this is a bit of that, and he will communicate that.
Silt is kind of just nodding along as he plays, like, you believe you signed the pact with the demon, and in part that is true. I will give you the power you seek and the essence you wish to use to your benefit. But the price can be steep. Tell me, what do you know of history, boy? What do you know of the forming of these lands?
Is there any possibility that they can communicate telepathically like Lannifer did?
Yeah, no,
Or-
100%.
Yeah. Okay,
100%,
brilliant.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, I mean, he can switch this to your mind. And you
Okay,
can start
brilliant.
thinking these things if you want to. Like, it's not to make you on the spot going, give me a song.
Yeah. Well, like I'll do my best, but
Same bitch.
So
no. By all means, like start like
Yeah.
be humming along, be doing your thing, and it's just strumming and strumming. But in your mind, you can.
yeah. Well, he'll say, well, I know the history of songs, metal songs. They tell their own story, the lyrics.
And you have. I will say this: you can give me a recall roll, a knowledge roll, and you can use. I will allow you to use your experience of song lore in this, because there have been songs sung throughout the ages.
Well, yeah.
Of the time of the past.
That's exactly what
of
he was.
the lore of the past.
What he was referring to.
You can, of course, use that and talk about like times of power and times of. So yes, 100%.
And I'm maxed out
Okay,
on hope.
if any genre of bardic music is talking about, in the ancient times, it's gonna be fucking the old heavy metal bard.
Cuts to a Manowar
The
song.
druids of Stonehenge. No one knew who they were or what they were doing.
Just all of a sudden lowered from the canopy of the trees by Rambo.
Just brutal legend. It's just brutal legend.
And the demons dwell and they do well. Okay. So if I drop a hope, does that give me a D6? Is that how that works?
No, so if you pump a hope into this, you can use your song lore experience, so you can.
Oh, sorry. So I have to spend a hope to use. Of course. Cool. So let's do that. Yeah. Cool. So let's do that. So I'm going to roll. So I got +2 in this, and then I've got +1 on my knowledge. So here we go. 2d12 +3 coming at you like.
Sorry, if it's not true, can I actually into again, because we're all kind of like learning this and showcasing people.
Yeah.
With Daggerheart, Wayne, in your obviously is the way we're running it. If in order to, obviously we have to spend the hope in order to use the experience. Could Dave? Can you spend more than one hope at a time? Could you spend another hope to then get the bonus to the roll?
No. Somebody else can give you advantage. So if there was somebody else involved in this moment, if somebody else is aware of this situation,
Pardon?
could spend the time like so. Say for example, if there's two people in this conversation with Silt at the moment, they could say, "Well, I'm going to give him advantage and spend a hope and give you a D6 as a roll." So that's the kind of you're giving somebody that advantage.
Sorry, I didn't mean to,
that's
but just for kind of future, just for my own.
Yeah.
So I know where. Yep.
That's a 15 with fear, my good friend. So I'm more than happy to give that back to you.
Lovely.
That's the one I owe you.
So you recall songs of times of long past where there is talk of great power and great magics throughout the land. None more so obvious than the Shattering. There is actually a full prog rock album done by a band from the south that involves all manner of different types of bardic.
There's more than one.
Nice.
Yeah, that is called The Great Shattering, and it's just it's a 50-minute non-stop one song of pure mad metal mixes, and it details the entire history
They
of the
definitely weren't in a
Shadows.
rush when they wrote that.
No, they were well.
Don't like the song. It's, we prefer musical odyssey.
So
Is there
you
just
kind
a
of
20-minute instrumental by a guy called Dave Troll?
The 20-hour
Yeah.
instrumental, but yeah.
So you kind of do recall it. You're nodding
Mm.
along, and Silt is saying these things like, Silt is like, while I do give out the exterior demeanor of an ethereal creature, I am very much linked with the magical essence of this land. You surely heard of the great shattering that took place all that eons ago, and those foolish mages who tethered themselves to each other in order to try and harness its power of the heart. Well, you are looking at the result of such a harness. I was one of those fool mages.
Shit.
And there's a dawning on your mind as he says this. So if he was one of these mages,
Mhm.
does that make every other individual that has that flaming eye an essence of one of those mages?
But not one of those made individually. Perhaps they're all like there's like 100 of them would make up the essence of one of them, or
So you recall there's one particular 12-minute song from the album The Shattering that details the tethering of the magics, and it is called Tether of Life. That's the name of the song, and that particular tune in great detail talks about the ritual that they undertook in order to tether each individual life to each other to supplant their power into a head sorcerer or sorceress, and they sacrifice their essence in order to give that grand mage the power to control the glass heart. And it's at that moment when the song hits a crescendo that it talks about the great shadow. So from your song lore, because you rolled high enough, from your song lore, you realize that each individual mage gave their individual life essence. Now, please give me, just see, because this is, I don't want to metagame this. I want James to be able to figure this out himself. Can you give me
just James is trying to figure out. So we know the number of mages, but we've seen way more than that number with people with the Eye of Fire. So
you know from your song lore that there was armies of mages that were used for this.
Okay, right. So
there was two conflicting
it could be
armies.
one for one then.
So so there's two conflicting armies. If we all remember back to the lore dump right at the start of this whole campaign, where we talked about the glass heart and the two armies that were trying to take over the control of the glass heart sat at the center of the Horizons Hollow. And they had an army of mages each, and at the head of each of those armies was a head mage or a head sorceress or sorcerer, and they were tasked by the warlords to use their magics to try and tether the glass heart. But in turn, because of their magics going against each other, it actually shattered the glass heart.
Yeah.
And Silt now seems to be outpouring some information to you, and I want to see if James can figure out what the fuck he's on about.
Okay.
So essentially, he is telling you, we sacrificed ourselves and our essences, and we embedded our souls in the heart in order to control it. And we have been trapped there ever since. So I need you to give me a knowledge roll again to see if you can really figure out what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, James is not the sharpest tool in the box, in fairness, so I'm happy for this to go whatever way it goes. So I'm going to go /or2d12. I think I have a +1 on that, so there we go.
And again, if you want, you can pump your song lore into this as well, because the history you're referencing is your lyrics on your notebooks, so you will allow you to use your song lore on that as well.
I don't think it's going to make a difference, but I would have had I not seen the roll, so I will drop a hope and add +2 to that. So that is 11 now with fear.
11 is enough. The DC was 10. Because I like giving lore dumps because I'm a GM.
Me too.
So essentially, as you're sitting there with Silt and you're working on the music and the fire is flickering in front of you and that feel of the campfire, and you're having this kind of small unplugged session that only you hear in your mind. Because right now, you're just playing lead guitar to a song that nobody else can hear, which is essentially James's gig, I think, in life. And you're sitting there trying to figure this out as piece by piece starts to slot in as you remember lyrics, as it talks about the mage's essence offered up to the gods, the mage's essence that would drag the hills from their roots. All these different lyrics that are talking about the mage's power and the sacrifices that they made. And this particular album, at the time when it was released, was questioned about how it seemed to be written in favor of these magical entities, that the band that wrote it were actually lambasted because they seemed to be on the side of the mages that shattered the glass heart. Because very much it's a telling from their point of view that they sacrificed themselves for the greater good. And those lyrics are running around in your head as Silt is saying these things, as you start to realize that each individual mage's essence somehow ended up in the glass heart, and such a kind of gathering of essence and power was essentially what led to it being shattered. And he's pouring this out to you to make you understand that you've made a pact with somebody who essentially, we are here now to serve once more our grand mage. And we've been sent into the world to find anchors such as yourself to allow our power to flow. And I'm only telling you this because the individuals we met in Parliament, that Tano, and he kind of spits the name. They were from the other sect, the other mages who were trying to stop us. We tried to.
How do we tell
We
the
tried to.
difference?
Well, to tell the difference is, I'm not trying to kill you, boy. I'm trying to help you.
Excellent.
No, please understand. And he stops playing at this moment. Please understand that I need you as much as you need me. I am not here to destroy you. I am not here to take your essence. I'm here to imbue you with power. Those that you've seen so far, they are evil. They are the ones taking the essence and the souls of the individuals they inhabit.
Am I evil?
Do you feel evil?
I feel like some of my songs are evil. Which is pretty fucking metal.
You found me. And he references back to when you found the crystal on the body of that creature. I was trapped. I had been taken by this creature who was rotting and falling into decay due to the power that was embedded in them by the treacherous mage that once inhabited that body.
So what do you need me to do?
I need you to understand that where you're going is dangerous.
Yeah.
And there will be many challenges for you. And there may come a time for you to allow me to channel my power through you for the greater good, for use of a better term.
That sounds dangerous. Sounds, I don't know. Will it kill me when it happens? Will I go out with a bang?
Well, if it does kill you, it will be a large pyrotechnic explosion of monumental
You had me at pyrotechnical explosion.
and it will also kill me.
Well, we die together for metal. And the greater good, of course. The fucking.
And he strums the lute as you say metal, and there's like a trum, and you feel the resonance in your own lute. And but in this moment, I don't know if James, and you can tell me if this is true or not, whether James is fully trusting in this moment, if he has his reservations, if he has his doubts. You can give me a roll on this If you want to do a kind of
to be honest with you,
sense, or he's just going
James, look, I mean, there's definitely a shift in this guy's tone. It started off quite there was there was temptation sort of dripping off this entity's words. And then I think at one point he sort of there was a show of force, and then now there seems to be, I don't know, it seems to me and James that it seems genuine enough.
You can question him if you want. You can address all of this to him if you want to do.
No, I think James is sort of like he's on board. I think the idea that James can release another album that is going to be a fucking like an absolute, it's going to blow everything away that he's ever done. But now even better, he could also turn out to be a fucking folk hero. And so this so he's not going to question this at all.
Okay.
He's going to swallow it hook, line, and sinker.
Nice.
Silt's
All he cares about is fame. That's all he cares about.
Yeah. Okay. Silt nods, and there seems to be a kind of a relaxation to him in this moment, because he was a bit unsure whether you would take that on board, because of what he promised you in the past.
Yeah,
he'll come on.
Yeah, he like will turn to him and go, it's going to be sad but true, but I'm okay if I turn out to be some kind of monster.
Oh Jesus.
What do you need right now?
I need you to understand that we are all in great danger. I have been forced to say this to you because of what happened in the city of Parliament. I was not aware such a force existed so quickly and readily. I was under the impression, like me, that we're only small pockets of influence. But this is building much faster and much quicker. Now, and Silt would have been aware of the information that you're aware of. So I just want to make sure this, and I want to check my lore here. Is James aware that the conclave has been the cavalcade has been destroyed?
Yeah, I think Paradox never stops fucking talking about it. So
he's brought it up.
I mean, it's fucking. I swear, it feels like it's been 100 fucking times. So yeah, he is aware that the cavalcade has been destroyed. I mean, he doesn't really have the wherewithal to sort of think too far ahead to figure out what that means. But he does want to know, though. He will sort of he will look down and nod at Silt, and he'll go, "Do you need me to steer the party in any direction, or just follow along?"
We are going where we need to go. It's just with the cavalcade gone now, and the nature, I don't know if you can sense or even care, but the land is changing, and it is different, and it is becoming more and more precarious and unpredictable. And it's at that moment Paradox comes back out of the forest carrying his quarry.
Just over the shoulder, kind of. They probably see the two like green kind of lights because he's not really hiding. So they probably see the two green like glowing circles from his eyes as he kind of comes through. First of all,
so Paradox steps back into the opening, the kind of the opening where you are, the glade where you have the campfire. Steps down into the area with you, and then you present the food. Ramble, I don't know if you see this, if you're up in the trees or if you.
Yeah, he'll slide down. He'll come back in, and he'll slide down so he can get his spice tracks out. And
down the trees and starts to.
But it looks fucked up.
That's the thing. So Paradox, I don't know if you want to present this to the group as you show them that it's fucked up.
Yeah. So basically,
I hate it.
You've
It's
butchered
fun.
it. You've butchered it, but it's not that usual pinkish meat. It's kind of like a dark
meat.
kind of. It's dark meat. It's very. It's like it's purplish blood running through it. And it is muscular. It looks solid. There's no stench coming off this. It doesn't smell acrid in any way. There's actually quite a spicy aroma coming off it. Like it's already pre-spiced. So as Ramble rocks up with a spice rack out of his bag, Ramble's like, "Did you already spice this?" Because it's like it looks like something.
How have you treated this meat to get it looking this way?
I haven't. So, first of all, Paradox will unfurl the hide that he's brought with him and throw it out. I don't know if you guys have seen rabbits with hides like this, but I certainly haven't. And
That's not normal.
it has and
I
Paradox
had
will,
straight to Latterface so she can
Yeah.
deal with her.
Paradox will then like grab it by the jaws and then open its mouth, revealing what was coming out.
Kind of
I've never
puts
seen
their,
that before.
The tentacles just like flop out.
Lanifer goes to touch the tentacles.
It's
lick it.
Look, I don't
Kind of
personally.
puts the rabbit in rabbit.
Lanifer, do you touch tentacles?
Yes, she goes to.
Oh god.
Um,
Paradox does try to stop her, but he's probably too late.
Okay. I need you to give me a. I don't know. Give me a finesse roll, please.
Interesting. What is her? That would be okay. So it's just a straight
You can
shot.
add a 2 to this. I'm going to drop one of my prayer dice
Actually,
into it.
when butchering it, he probably would have gutted it. So would the tentacles not come out while he gutted it, and he probably has them separate.
That's a 23 with hope.
23 hope. Yeah, you could.
Yeah, he probably has them. He's probably put them down
Sure.
separately
Whatever
after he
way you
showed.
presented them, but she's still kind of Lanifer. They still got to touch it, and Lanifer, you actually deftly realize you straight away notice that some of these are poisonous barbs, and you just move them to one side without touching them, and you're well read, you're well studied, you've traveled the world with Ramble, you know what you're looking at here. This is what it used to attack and to paralyze. It has paralyzing venom in some of the larger prongs and tentacles that come out of its mouth. As Paradox drops down this kind of, and there's little venom sacs that hang off the side of it that seems to pump into the tentacles where the two fangs are at the top.
Yeah, so he would have separated that from the.
Yeah.
Very useful. Oh my
meat.
So
goodness.
Lanifer, you would have seen this type of stuff before, but not in a rabbit. You would have seen it in sea creatures like large octopi or jellyfish and somewhat that would paralyze their prey before consuming it. This seems to be some kind of mutation in a land animal that you've never seen before.
Takes out the journals and just kind of like counting the barbs on each tentacle. And also trying to she gets out the tweezers and takes out a vial and tries to extract some of the venom, the poison.
If you can make use of whatever that is, I could probably coat arrows in it. But
when you start working, sorry,
give me a knowledge roll on that, and Dave, you go ahead.
Yeah, just when you start working on the barbs, you James just strum a very sort of happy major chord. Oh, I'm a Barbie. No.
that song gives me trauma from playing a barbarian.
Okay.
And
So
just over your shoulder, Dave, you just see Silk leaning is like, that is just all kinds of wrong.
Yeah, shit. Sorry.
No, not the song. This and it's only you hears them at your ear. So Lanifer, what did you get there?
So advantage. Does that mean +6 or just like a second? It's a D6. Okay.
It's a D6. Yeah, it's a D6.
Okay. So
And again, I'm happy if you didn't use the prayer dice on the last one. I'm happy to give it to you on this one.
So I did use the prayer.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I can add your 1 as well if you need it.
Gutted this already allow any assistance on that? Like he's already separated out the majority of it.
Okay.
So I already have +3 with knowledge, and I'm adding a D6 because I already have advantage on knowledge rolls. So
nice.
So it's +9 already.
Wow. So is that?
That's a 23 again with hope.
Wow. So you deftly fill up 2 small glass vials with the venom from this thing, and they can be used to coat daggers, arrows, or whatever you want, and they're a paralyzing agent. So anything that gets hit with this must make a save against it. And if they get hit with it, though, if they hit, it gets paralyzed for a couple of seconds for you to then have your way. Obviously, larger creatures are more immune to it because this
Mhm.
essentially is a small kind of coney, so it would only go after small creatures. So depending on how much of it you use, depending against the size of the creature you would go against, so on and so forth. Use your own idea what the physics would be,
Yeah.
and how it would work, the dosage overall. So yeah, so you've got 2 vials of that stuff that you managed to extract from the glands of this mutated rabbit. So you have this meat produced before you. Seems to be perfectly edible meat. There doesn't seem to be anything toxic about it. You've gutted it quite well, Paradox. You've managed to clean the meat. You've cleaned the carcass. It's not overly stringy. It's quite muscular, and there's enough to make some jerky out of it, and kind of have some provisions.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean, Dog
eat,
would
but
ask Paradox. He's and he's like, he gives it a sniff himself, and he kind of looks and he says to Paradox, he's like, Butcher, he said, yeah, you're happy with it?
I mean, I'm not the one who's going to be eating it, so
He says, I mean, I've eaten enough rats in my time.
yeah, it's definitely better
Grown
than a
up in
rat.
Crater.
I mean,
Yeah, he's like,
it's
I'm not gonna. You know?
my guess is the lack of cavalcade influence is causing whatever's going on over there. He'll point to the purplish glow to affect things a bit further out. Ramble, I mean, you have your spices and stuff there. I assume you know what you're doing with food if you want
As long
to
as
make sure.
the
Once you, I mean,
venom's been removed from the main carcass, we'll
I'll
maybe
check for
make
more
it.
glands.
We'll maybe put it and keep it hot for a little bit longer than normal, just to make sure we've killed off anything within it. That normally works. And yes, I'm
Perfect.
sure I
That's what
have
they did.
some.
That's
I'll
what they
put a
used to
bit
do
more
with the
salt in
rats in
it,
the pot shop as well. Make sure we want to really get that water boiling.
just so when you put it on the stick properly to make sure they really can get.
And Lanafir, as I'm probably the most likely to be taking pot shots at things from range, could I borrow those paralytic agents you've made there?
Of course, there's plenty to go. Well, I have 2 vials. Do you want both?
I mean, if nobody objects, I mean, an arrow with that on it could be quite useful.
Here you go.
Yeah,
I'm not really going
So
to put that
better
on
in
an
your
axe.
hands.
So
no, better in your hands.
Yeah, I've experience with poisons and stuff.
I mean,
So-
a poison is a subtle weapon. There's no point in me slathering
I mean-
it on a few inches of
It'd work.
6 foot of steel.
You put it on the point. You put it on the point and ram the point into somebody. It's going to do something. They'll probably be dead
Yeah.
already, but at least they won't die
it's
screaming.
I got to get close enough. If I need to get that close, to hit him, I might
They
as well
already
just
know you're
swing at
there
him.
with the. You do make a rattle when you walk. It's quite
Oh, yeah.
distracting.
And ask Silt what he thinks that thing is.
Silt kind of just looks it over and kind of walks around it a bit. It's like, I do believe it's just a mutated rabbit. Doesn't seem to be dangerous in any, definitely not in its current form. But as I've said, this land has been infected by the essences of the dark magics seeping out of the dream sphere. The cavalcade kept it at bay.
We need to take care of that shit.
At an accelerated pace. The cavalcade was key to nature's wheel, and that wheel has been broken.
Think I get it now.
And if nobody else has anything else to do for the downtime, we will pull out as the group all bed down for the night. Sorry, Dog. Do you want to do something?
You're
there,
muted.
Dog.
Oh, I think you're muted.
Sorry. Just before going to bed, if it's possible, to get a private word with James before
Of course, yeah.
going to sleep. I mean, I'm aware there might be watches or whatever, but if it's just
There'll be watches.
nothing to
Cool.
look too
Yeah, have to go
suspicious.
through that.
We're had been traveling companions prior to this, so I don't think us having a chat before bed is going to be particularly suspicious. But I'll leave that up to people's roles. But he will.
I know
if,
what your wages are coming.
Yeah, Dave.
I just need to make some arrangements with the recordings, the record label, and
well, good. He just
yeah.
He just sits. He kind of sits, by the fire, and kind of gestures for James.
Yeah.
And he takes a sip of something, just in a little like wine skin, and hands it to James. And then he doesn't, sure, unless James doesn't partake. I'm actually sure, in which case he wouldn't offer it.
Fucking
I don't.
crazy.
I mean,
he will take
I
anything
assume,
offered to him if there's even
I
a hint of a
assumed.
buzz.
Yeah,
He is
obviously.
in.
And once he said it to him, he just says, because I'm now. Apologies if I'm wrong. I'm fairly certain, because I had it written down, that Dog had heard the name Silt came up in the encounter. I think there was no context
Tano.
for it.
With Tano,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, he just says to James as a question, Silt. He kind of looks at him.
Dirt. See, I can do it too. Are we doing what was word association here?
Oh, what?
That's actually a lyric in one of the songs that I was
What is
writing.
going on?
Guilty by association. I like the way that starts because it's sort of it's good. What do you mean? What's going on? I signed a new record deal. We're gonna be fucking famous.
For what?
Fucking did you miss the riffs tonight? The melodies, the fucking leads. I'm back. I'm bad.
I don't know how else to ask this, mate. Are you possessed by a ghost?
Only possessed by fucking metal. No.
You got to tell me what's going on, because
I signed a deal with a
I'm
with a new contract.
If I'm security, I got to be kept in the loop. I got to look out for you.
Now you're talking a language you understand.
He said, I got to be kept in the loop. And he said, and let's be honest, he said, look, I don't think anyone here is an immediate threat. All I'm going to say is some questions have been thrown my way that I don't know how to answer. And so I don't know.
Come to me.
I don't know how to put people's minds at ease.
They've got questions about me. They can come to me.
They've got questions about your, new business partner.
And at this point, Silt is sitting there and kind of just like looking back and forth. It's like, if you feel you can trust this one, we can tell him. But it is a big ask to trust something this outlandish. And this one doesn't strike me as a believer.
I'm more concerned about the fact he's been talking to the others about me, without me.
This is in your head as well. So
Yeah.
Just a quick, how loud is this conversation getting when that? Because I know with the way James speaks, it feels like his voice might carry a bit.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine Paradox is quite a light sleeper, but I don't want to be necessarily.
I'll ask the two lads, did they go wandering in the woods to have this conversation, or did they sit by the campfire, or what did they do?
He approached him kind of at the campfire, so it wouldn't look as suspicious as going.
Then James would be speaking under his breath.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dog
is reasonably adept at. Oh no, I mean, I'm happy for everyone, because as much as Dog is practiced in obviously, keeping a low profile and not being overheard by the city watch or whatever, it's not. He has to make some sound. He has to make some noise. He's
all right. I tell you what, fuck it. And then he look at Silt and go, fuck it.
Silt clicks his fingers, and he just appears right in front of Dog.
Dog instinctually kind of
put that fucking thing away.
Nobody else can. It's only just you can see him at this point. He's just standing there, and he's just like, "Hello,
meet the new boss."
I wouldn't
different
say
from the old boss.
I'm more of a partner, akin to yourself.
Because I ran away from one boss.
I'm
not looking for another.
No, let me put your mind at ease. I am not a boss. I am a partner in a venture that is beneficial to all. I do not wish ill will on you and your group. I am here merely to aid you where I can,
See,
using
He does sound
James-
like a record producer.
see,
using James as a conduit
Right.
for power. James is a very
Mhm.
powerful bard, and his voice reaches many minds. And those minds are going to be required in the coming battle. This is a dire situation,
dire straits.
and we don't get
Say
money
battle.
for nothing in this one.
What this battle, what side are you on? With the people in that pub?
No. I was merely laying in wait there for the right individual, and James appeared.
Sorry, I meant this with with Tano
Oh,
and
Tano.
you know. Yeah, sorry, that because yeah.
No,
I've forgotten the name of it.
yeah, there was much to discuss in this situation. That individual that you met, Tano, he is one of the higher mages of a warring faction. I am the essence of a mage that served eons ago. I was present at the shattering. I was one of the many reasons that the shattering took place. And this is my penance for such transgressions. I am no demon. I am merely an entity without a body. And I have the means to imbue my powers to your friend here.
See, it's all good. We're the good guys,
Fucking magic.
right? That's a good name
Shattering.
for a fucking song. Fucking magic,
Said-
yeah.
Said. So, for now, on our side, another weapon in the arsenal.
Now, in
I
this
can-
moment, dog, just
I
above
can
the table,
sleep
if
tonight
you
with
want,
that.
if you want to give me any rolls here to see if he's telling the truth or if he's
I
lying,
would like to do that. Yes.
so you give me if you give me a perceive roll.
Why would you do that?
Oh no, he believes James. Oh,
No,
sorry.
I
yeah.
know, but like,
Yeah.
why would you not believe Silt?
Yeah. Sorry, one was.
I mean, generally, when something has been described
Don't
as a
get this.
crossroads demon, you might
sorry,
want
I'm,
to double check what it says.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, I
a
was-
demon, demons to some, angels to
Yeah.
others.
Exactly. I was typing the
Who's
roll
to say he
into,
just appeared as something that he know would
Yeah.
resonate with James?
That's
We
true,
have
but like,
such sights to show you.
but then that in itself is
Can
a
I-
deception, Wayne, and therefore, you might want to check
Yeah.
into what
I
he's
can't
saying.
confirm or deny anything. I am. Just the
I don't
GM.
want you to. I want to fucking. I
Yeah.
want to play this out.
Wayne, could I argue for my the experience, my killer for hire experience, where people pay you and they say, you killed this guy, but he's a really bad guy and he actually is stolen, to try and
You
suss
have-
out.
Cool. Yeah.
Do you have like an underworld experience, like outside of that? Sorry, because I can't see your experiences on the character sheet that I'm looking at for some reason.
You've got.
Because
If
I
you're
was-
Slyborn, you have
at the
Scoundrel. Are
time,
you
I
Slyborn?
do, yeah.
You have advantage on any rolls where you're negotiating with criminals, detecting lies, or finding a safe place to hide.
Oh,
So if
just
you're
detecting
trying,
lies.
so
That's
you
true,
have,
actually. I forgot.
so you have advantage on this. So that means you have a D6 to roll with this. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think because I think it might otherwise be a bit the only thing I gave myself, I put my experiences, I made my experiences street rat, killer for hire, and then bodyguard / security. Unless I could argue that it's a security concern. But I will.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
It
but
sounds
be.
like it might be a national security threat.
if I can argue for that and spend a hope
Yeah,
to
yeah. Go on.
give
Go
my
on.
+2.
All in.
So
Come on,
2d12 plus d6.
Just to
plus
back the
2.
suspicions, as Frodo wisely said once, if it was a servant of the enemy, it would probably look fairer but feel foulers. And
Mhm. Yeah. I need to
Mind me,
decide.
Listen,
whether-
if we're wrong, we're wrong, and it's great. Gucci.
Yeah.
Me, I'm just spending some fear and rolling some dice here.
that is
The
a
the fact you're using
that is a 23
Yeah, I'm
with hope.
really.
23 with hope. Okay, nice. Take the
Yeah.
hope. So you're watching this creature that just literally just appeared before you and unloaded all of this on you and laid bare what their true essence is and what their true meaning is. James, your long-term friend, is backing them up and making their play. And as far as you can tell, back and forth speaking to the both of them with that role, everything seems to be on the up and up that you can tell.
He lets
A
out
lot
one
of
sigh,
fear. Don't believe him.
and then kind of slaps the hands down the legs and kind of pushes himself up and
See,
says,
right?
"Well,
Give me a yeah.
Yeah.
well, look, let's say, I won't be sleeping with one eye open tonight."
Yeah. Doesn't have to be a
And
yeah,
I'm-
yeah. All I need is a yeah.
Yeah, he said, "Look, he said, but I do think we need to address this with the others.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell them everything.
Enter Siltman.
I'm good to, to try and assuage their concerns, but
Well, you mean we? I think we keep this to ourselves, just for now.
gotta
And
tell
then
them something."
Well, I mean, tell them. Don't fucking just keep. Don't tell them fucking anything. Just keep them. Go do it.
Give them
Yep.
the runaround.
Silt chimes in at this moment, like, trust me, we are going to be very distracted very quickly at first light when you venture out into the world. Because it is not the world as you know it anymore. It is a weird, twisted, dark place that evil has infected. On that note, we are going to go for our break.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And apologies for delaying it.
No, not at all.
That was awesome.
I think that was
Good scene.
needed to
Mm.
kind of
Definitely, yeah. No,
that back and forth was good. So fair play.
So Silk might not be evil.
He might not be. Anyway.
Possible.
In any case,
Possible.
chat, while these speculate to these things, we'll be back
Yeah.
in 5 to 10 minutes. Stay hydrated out there. It's still bloody warm, these things, and we'll see you very soon. See you in a moment. And welcome back in. Before we resume, I'd just like to say a quick thank you out to It's a Map, IRE, who is running our Technomancer duties in the background tonight. There is below a tip the Technomancer button if you wish to help us continue to print these stories after you, and also to just borrow a coffee because she's done 3 nights in a row now. She might be a little bit tired at this point. Artwork for the characters is by the players themselves using Hero Forge. There is all more sneaky artwork that the GM himself has provided. You will see following down in chat, Stream Elements is putting in some of his works, and we do thoroughly recommend you go and check them out. But if you ever miss an episode or want to catch up with one of our talented GMs, well, you should go over to our YouTube channel, Emerald Collective Podcast, where you'll find not just 5e, but also Blades in the Dark, Shadow Dark, and in even audio format, an entire Call of Cthulhu campaign. No Silver Linings is a complete adventure created by friend of the channel, Mark Corrigan of Shark Games, and is available on drivethroughrpg.com right now, alongside 1 or 2 more of his other works we do also recommend you go and check out. He was the keeper for this campaign, as we introduced a party to the horrors to be found in Silver Mines, County Tipperary in 1919. We mean the Eldritch ones, not whatever is actually already there. If you prefer your adventures generally in podcast format, No Silver Linings can be found on all your normal podcast platforms as well. And alongside another of Mark's creations, The Violet Madness. Previously a student campaign right on this channel, this is now available only in an audio format, as the party there crossed the land of Gastonia in an attempt to rid that world of the titular magical disease. If you missed that campaign entirely, and what were you doing, the episode 0 on the podcast will bring you up to speed. And I believe we're up to 15 episodes now, continuing this story. But you'll only get access to the 15th one if you're a paid Patreon subscriber. A Patreon? Of course. You are looking for the Emerald Collection, and that is deliberate, which will allow you to receive original maps, magic items, and monsters every month, normally with a theme, for use in your own games. And we'd love to see what you do with them if you use them. As well as early access to the podcast releases every fortnight on a Wednesday. You will get discounts on other select items at drivethroughrpg.com. Discounts as well on commissions from It's a Map IRE, because she also does map commissions as well as Technomancer duties, because she's great. And also artwork commissions from Liz Shangavi, formerly Zorp's Art, and she did all the Patreon art, which is lovely. We'll even do you a shout out, and tonight's shout out, I believe, goes to Kian Scully, who's a wonderful member of the community, and you will see him action on Tuesday as he brings his flavour of Rogue to that particular adventure. With all that said, Rogue, definitely not Warlock. Definitely
No, he definitely didn't sign a deal and like do the worst job ever hiding it.
No, I'm past my deception.
It's fine. Don't talk about it. It's cool. It's fine.
Did somebody say deal?
And on that note, let's bring that to our guest GM tonight. Wayne, bring us back into Daggerheart.
So, following numerous watches as different members of the group all take turns, you all see throughout the night, going into the morning, the only word that can be used to describe it is the weirdness that is now embedding itself into the land around you. Trees twisting and turning through the night, growing. Ramble, if you were on watch in a tree, you could feel the foliage grow and mutate around you. Leaves elongating, branches twisting and turning, becoming barbed in places. You kind of had to move once or twice to give yourself a better perch, so a barb wouldn't go up your arse. But there were moments where you saw the magics, and anyone that is magically inclined could feel it. And anyone that was magically inclined while you were sleeping, your dreams were as weird as shit. And it was just strange.
Like the time I took peyote, that wasn't a good
yeah,
plan.
it's full on that. Like, I mean, you were half expecting your spirit animal to turn up at one point, and that didn't happen, but it was borderline for some. And you all awake groggily, having slept well enough. You are rested fully. Any tasks that you had undertaken through your downtime are completed. Add your bonuses, your hope, and make sure you're all topped up with that. Make sure you've cleared any armor or hit points that you wanted to clear as well.
Could I use my bardic ability? Once per session, as your party prepares to enter a dangerous or difficult situation, would the wilds around the Dreamsphere count as that?
Damn straight.
Okay. Describe how you rally them and give yourself and each of your allies a d6 rally die. Anyone with a rally die can spend it to roll it, adding the result to an action roll, reaction roll, damage roll, or clearing stress equal to the rally die result, which that's pretty fucking cool. At the end of each session, all unspent each session, that means stream, all unspent rally dice are cleared. The rally die you distribute increases to 1d8 at level 5. It's to 1d6 right now.
Nice.
So he is going to play the new riffs. And what I think he has, what were they called? What were the crystals called?
Resonance.
The resonance crystals.
So can he record the rhythm into one of them and then play it back and play the lead over and you go, here's my new tune, bitches.
Throughout the night,
A magical loop pedal.
You wake up after a night of rest and after a discussion with Silt and the back and forth with Dog. You wake up the next day to find that your lute has now become semi-acoustic and it's got a slot in it to plug in a resonance crystal to record directly onto.
Yes. Fucking yes. So he plugs it in and so and then he blasts out this fucking this awesome riff. Hey, you need to just stop licking your asshole when you're right beside me. Thank you very much. That's not the name of the song.
That's a very interesting song.
What my dog's doing.
Are you sure?
Yeah. So I will click.
That's not why I'm called Dog.
Right, yeah. So everyone gets a D6 rally die now. So I'm hoping that includes me. So add that to your action roll. But you can also so if conceivably if you had 5 stress, you could clear 5 stress with a rally die.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah.
That's
actually very handy.
It's really strong.
I could clear some stress because my other downtime action was going to be to clear stress rather than a hit point or armor.
Well, I'll allow you to do that as your downtime action, so you can clear. So you would have done your prepare, and then you had one other action to undertake. So I'll allow that to be your clearing of stress. So go ahead.
But this is this rally dice this isn't something that's like during the rest. This is just at the beginning, like
it's at the beginning of the
This
so we're carrying this rally die with.
Yeah.
I will hang
you can
on
take
to
it that you can take it that your stress is cleared though as well.
I'm going to take I will take the downtime move then to clear that one stress. I'll hold on to that rally because I have a lot of abilities which I can mark stress to do
100%.
X, Y, Z.
So can I say that everyone gets that but Lannifer?
Oh,
I'm only joking.
Listen, I am.
Everyone's face.
I don't mind. Like, hey, listen, if you wanna.
No, he doesn't know you're talking shit behind his back yet, so that's fine. You still get it.
How was she talking shit? He's a concerned friend.
Anyway. Yeah. Okay.
Wayne, can I use my just because you've said Paradox is familiar enough with this area, I would like to use, as we set out, my path forward ability. So when you're headed for a place that you previously visited or carry an object with you that has been there before, which I do, you can identify the most direct path to your destination. So Paradox is going to climb one of these maybe like as they're traveling to like a rocky outcrop or something, like just to get like Legolas, what do your elf I see kind of moment.
Sure.
And he's just gonna peer out above and he's gonna identify what like thickets of forest ahead or what valleys are too steep to get out the other side and stuff and figure it out.
Okay. I need you to give me a perceive roll in this moment.
Yes. That is
as the group are gathering their stuff and they're packing up for their travels, damping out the campfire, Paradox leaps up a tree, gets to a high canopy, and peers out over the landscape.
Could I use my Cavalcade Ranger experience for that?
You can pump a hope into that, and you can use it.
Because he's used to finding the most safe path ahead for the people when the Zook go through territory that you either have to ride on their back or, go around and meet them up with after. So it'll be plus 3. Come on. It's 14 with hope.
14 with hope. You climb to the top of the canopy of this tree, which has grown exponentially overnight, taller, wider, more brambles, strange fruit starting to produce from its branches. Not ripe just yet, but has a weird pungent smell from it as you pass it in the canopies. You push your way through. As you break through the leaf, the sheltering of the leaves at top, you peer out, and it takes you a second, because at first you're shocked by how much the landscape has changed.
Okay.
You were looking now at what used to be an open area with hills and valleys and outcroppings of rock is now populated by all sorts of weird flora and fauna. That
It's like a jungle.
overnight, unbelievably so, thick kind of green canopies, purple canopies, blue, yellows, large thick vines of jagged thorns have wrapped themselves around outcroppings of rock or ruins that lay in the distance. And it takes you a while to pierce through the changes, to start to recognize potential landmarks. And it's in that moment that you realize where you are. About a half hour's walk from where you are right now is where you left the remnants of the cavalcade.
Uh-huh.
You would have to pass through it to get to the Dream Sphere. So that realization rolls into the back of your processor. And you take the time to realize that as the group below have finished packing up their equipment.
Who's
and ready
cranes?
to set out.
Oh, he kind of just like jabs his like one of his short swords into the side of the tree and just slides down using that. Safest way down, just like.
Okay. As you cut
And-
through the tree, you'll notice that the sap and the pus that comes out of it is acrid and thick,
Yeah.
yellowy and stenchy. It doesn't smell good.
Okay, I don't know how to best phrase this, but
Things have changed, I presume.
oh, things have there's something evil about the land. Like, there's no other way to phrase it.
Then we should get moving before it finds us.
We're gonna have to pass through where I left them to make our way there. There'll be I assume, the remnants of the cavalcade. in
There
our path.
were. We cast through that way as well.
Can we get a cavalcade count up on the Twitter, please?
Do you get
Yo,
a
dude,
Sylvan
put cavalcades in your
Destroy?
cavalcade.
Caval count.
Yeah.
I believe we're at 3. 3 or 4.
So, yeah, we better get going. It's about a half hour's walk, and then we're there. And then the rest of the day, we should.
Realize we were so close to where that site.
I didn't realize where we were dropped initially, but the worst, I suppose, of this is I'm not entirely sure if the changes to the landscape are going to slow us down or not. I will do my best to cut a path. I know the shortest route from here is about a day's journey normally, but I don't know what lies in those, I suppose, corrupted lands, for want of a better word.
Well, I'm sure we'll have a better idea at the end of the day. I promised you, Lanafil, a field more journal than one.
Keep your weapons loose. That's all I'll say. And Lanafir, do me a favor.
Yes?
Don't touch anything.
Oh, I can make no promises.
She will absolutely touch everything.
I will
promise you.
absolutely touch something.
She's
It's all part
she's
of the
delicate
fun.
when she does. She's
And actually, as he's walking
Big
past, I'm
mistake. You
assuming he
didn't also
clocks...
specify not to lick anything.
No, he didn't. Well,
No, I
licking
will-
involves
I will
licking
not
is
lick,
touching
I
with
will
your
not
tongue.
lick any strange liquid.
Licking is touching is my favorite Spinal Tap song.
As he's walking past, probably walks past James, briefly clocks that his loot looks like nearly entirely different.
Well, give me a perception roll to see
If he
your
does,
perceive
yeah, I
roll
was
if you
gonna
notice
ask.
that, please.
Yep. Perceive. He's already slightly suspicious of him, but you know. One, yeah, plus one. That is 7. With hope.
You don't see shit.
Yeah, no, never
You don't
mind.
see shit.
You
Oh,
don't do
damn it.
shit.
I had such a cool line if you did see shit.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
he kind of looks at it and he's just like, huh? And
salute.
well, like he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't.
I mean, James could
James will
always
show it off. James will show it off and he goes, I made some upgrades. Maybe you should try it.
Oh,
He's telling us now like a
and then
flaming
Paradox.
decal
And he'll
on
just
it.
keep
just-
walking.
It was a
As he
very
goes-
invigorating performance. Don't you feel energized? I feel quite energetic.
And
Um,
this back and
yeah.
forth echoes through the group and through the trees as you start making your way. And
Oh,
just at the
jeez.
back of the group, Silt is just shaking his head, going, "Ugh, I picked the biggest bunch of bumblefucks."
Hey.
Keep walking.
He's
Going.
not
Resemble
wrong.
that
He's
remark.
not wrong.
Vox Machina, the Mighty Nine, the Bumblefox.
No. Bumblefucks.
Save the bees.
Yeah.
So the group
Paradox,
you're
just
making
jump.
your way through this space here, and Ramble and Paradox have giving you are, and even Lanafir, giving that you are the outdoorsy types of the group. And I don't know how outdoorsy Dog would be. You'd be of the world, I guess, but of the world of crime. I don't think you see yourself in many forests.
No, he's a city boy. He's you know.
So
No,
the
he's,
three of you, like Lanafir, with your
Like he
book
can
smarts
rough it,
and
but he's not like
You're used to sleeping outdoors, I guess, but you're not an outdoorsy type.
No, even if he's traveling, unless he's avoiding the.
So Lanafir's the
authorities,
navigator. Ramble's the one who
Yeah.
picks up the fallen tree trunks so he can get past. He's not a navigator, but
Okay.
Paradox is specifically a wayfinder. So
Okay. So you like Paradox, you can start to kind of pick your way through this space. And Lanafir, if as you're all moving through here, you're seeing sights that none of you have seen, even with your experience out in the wilds. There are mutations of plants and creatures here that are just mind-blowing. There are large bulbous plant life that are overhanging and creating arcs and pathways that were once fully open and treeless. There are now appearing where was dry land and acrid rot is now fully flourished in flowers. There are wetlands appearing here and there, and you're traveling for about a half an hour before Paradox. You've said before you have kind of receptors in your nostrils, and
it's kind of like
are you on point? Are you at the front?
Yeah, especially
Lanafir-
coming up to the cavalcade, he's making sure he gets there. He gets like through the thicket before anyone else, just to be sure that there's nothing there.
You can judge the distance you're traveling. You know that it's coming. And as you crest up over a hill and look down into the valley that housed the remnants of the cavalcade, I'm loving this music in this moment. As you look down into the area, you see now completely enshrined in vines and moss and foliage and these beautiful blooming pink and white flowers that dot the landscape across all of their corpses. You see the remnants of the cavalcade stretching out for about half a mile. Because this thing was long, it was huge, vast. The creatures, the Zook, were gigantic. But it's only been a couple of days. But yet, as you step over the crest of this hill and look down into this valley, and as the rest of the group come up behind you, and you all start to take in this area, you realize that this is a place of tragedy. What do you want to do as you start to all take this in?
Yeah, so I mean, immediately, like the first thing Paradox does is he does kind of like kneel down to pay his respects, like, you know, one leg behind him kind of thing. He pulls out like a kind of chain that he has tucked under his armor, which has the symbol, kind of presses it to where his lips would be, as if like almost like kissing a cross kind of thing. And just pauses for a moment.
Ramble will just share a glance of Lanafir and just like, and then we'll cross over and just briefly rest a hand on Paradox's shoulder.
Seems the nature has protected this, anyways.
It has grown more than we saw it last, but
James
perhaps
will give him a thumbs up. And there.
Dog doesn't say anything. He lets him.
It is.
He means it though. He's not taking the piss.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's the best he can do.
This is as solemn as he gets. Like the site is something that none of you have seen before. It's like Paradox. Obviously, you were here when all of this. You came upon this after it happened, and as did Lanafir and Ramble. You were here. You've seen this particular scene before, but in its current state, it's like the land is reclaiming these corpses. It's like the earth has split, and nature is reclaiming everything and pulling it back in. And in this moment as well, I want all arcane individuals to give me a roll here. Just roll your 2d12, hope or fear. You can add your spell casting bonus to this.
Where do
wish.
I find my
So I think everyone.
And I'm
is
already
roughly- I think
rolling
it's-
with advantage because this is a
So you're-
knowledge roll.
Yeah, so everyone is everyone I think has a +2 spell cast. +2 for a spell cast at this point.
Yeah.
I think.
I've got
I have
+3 in mine.
+3.
You've
Yeah.
got +3. Have you? Nice. Okay.
Dog is
Where do you
Billy
see
No Mage over
spellcast
here.
on the character sheet? Sorry.
Yeah. So I can see it on yours, James. It's just basically you're under your book of.
Oh, +2. Yeah.
says
Sorry. Yeah.
+2. So yeah.
Cool.
So just give us a spell cast roll there, and
I've 12 with fear, which I think is kind of thematic.
yeah.
I've got a 17 with hope.
I've got a 14, which is a critical.
Ah, shit.
Actually,
That's
yeah,
18 with
crit.
fear.
18 with fear. I'll take the fear. Okay. Even in this moment, James, you feel Silt stand up behind you and put a hand on your shoulder, and the essence flows through you as you reach out with your arcane senses. And all of the other magic users as well feel something. But straight away, the depth in this moment resonates with James. And you kind of can't help but feel that there is still magic in the Zook that is being siphoned into the earth. And it's at this moment that all of you realize, Dog, you don't see this because you're not really paying attention to the magic piece. But anyone that's magic based, you realize that the flora and fauna here, and the kind of shrubberies and the trees and everything here is not mutated in any way. Everything here is natural and the way of the order of everything should be. The mutation has not reached here. And as you look down at your feet, you realize that the mutation stops at the head of the hill as you've come down. And it's like, what? It's like it's not pushing into this valley. And it
Well,
doesn't
I-
seem to push.
They're like whatever power remains in them is holding this back.
Seems to be. And you clock that straight away, James, with a crit. Straight away you realize, and with
That's correct.
Silt pushing you and pointing at certain sections of it that only you can see. And in fact, actually, Dog, you can see Silt pointing. And you're kind of going, what the hell are they doing? But straight away, James, you realize what he's pointing at. And he's telling you, he's whispering in your ear, they are keeping the mutation at bay.
And
Whatever
James will say
essence
that,
is still
yeah.
within these creatures, they're even in death, they're keeping the darkness at bay. But
James
only
will go
in
over
his controlled
to-
area.
To Paradox and try his best to make him feel better. And he'll say, hey, if you examine these creatures a little bit closer, you'll see there's still some power in them. They're keeping these mutations at bay.
So,
I know
That's
you're
what
having a hard time, so he'll fish out one of his plectrums and he goes, here's a plec.
yeah, Paradox will take it. He'll kind of look at it and be like,
It's got
Is there like-
it's got James written on the back, and it's got
Not an
Metallica
arrowhead.
logo. Oh, on the other
It's-
side.
yeah, because he did assume it was an arrowhead at first, and he's like, oh, he'll kind of slot it where he keeps his spare arrowheads.
Here you go.
Mhm.
I will say, actually, just as a matter of mechanics, if you wish to use the plectrum as an arrowhead, you can use it as an arcane arrowhead, and it'll give a +2 to hit.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
That's happening at some point.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
And also 1d8 lightning damage.
Nice.
Ah,
Ride the lightning bit.
Ride the lightning, love it.
That better be.
Alright.
You've given me an
top-tier
idea for a
fuckery, and I'm
combo
here
move
for it.
already.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that
make sure you jot that down, Paradox.
yeah, I will. Paradox with that is, I suppose he's kind of aware, anyways, probably of the magical nature of the Zook, but probably not that it would persist in death.
Well, now you know.
So
It's like a creeping death.
they're
Sure,
Powerful
like
being.
one song out of this that'll be sufficient for
they've
casting a memory.
always been powerful creatures, beings for good, but it's impressive that after what happened, they can still resist this.
Just a different form of life or something, a different state of existence, if you know what I mean.
If we succeed in the dream sphere, it means that we can probably reverse this with time.
Sure. Yeah.
Ramble, I want you to give me a perceive roll in this moment, please. Just ramble. There is one thing that the rest of you notice as you're stepping into this space. Do you step down into where the Zook
Yeah.
are?
After a minute,
yeah.
Paradox will
Yeah.
kind of start walking forward.
Yeah. You realize as you step in here, the air is clear. It's light. Your lungs, for those of you that breathe, fills well, and you feel refreshed. And it's like it is the whole essence here is clean. Stepping in from the humid, overgrown section of the small bit of forest that you traveled from into this area, you can feel and perceive the complete difference in this holding, and the magic is rife through the land.
That's a 15 with fear on my perceive roll.
Right, okay. 1 second. Okay. Ramble, just off in the distance, at the cusp of the valley, you see that's where the mutation returns and grows. And you, just for a second, in between all the thick growths, you make out what seems to be a female face of your race, like a simian female form. And it just quickly appears out, and then it's gone again. And the kind of the shrubberies and the foliage just flick back to, and there's like a puff of of air as spores seem to appear out. As where
He
the face
starts
was,
to
the
walk
face was-
closer. He presumes that presuming Paradox is going closer to the Zook.
Yeah.
Ramble's going to head off an angle and start headed towards that way. He's not said anything yet to the group, but he's starting just to walk off in that direction.
Yeah,
Okay.
Paradox is specifically going to find the one that he probably would have stayed in the carriage built
Lived on.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the larger Zook that would have housed yourself and your immediate kind of found family. And it's about halfway into the procession. It is obviously lilted onto its side.
Yeah.
Its carapace form is crumpled in, and you can still see some of the large spears that were pierced into its underbelly, kind of still protruding out of these large, beautifully kind of like intricate flowers that are now twisting and forming up around the hilts of these spears and the shafts of the spears.
He'll make a point of removing the spears.
You pull them free, and there's just like there's a light kind of like, and there's like a gust of a small puff of air that is fresh, like it's weirdly like an air freshener just going, but it's sweet and fragrance, and there's no rot here, even though they are now quickly decaying corpses. There's no rot.
Yeah,
These are returning to the land, but doing it in a way that is natural and peaceful and not decrepit.
If he finds, I suppose, any of the people specifically that he would have lived more directly with, he'll kind of each time kind of stop for a moment and maybe remove any weaponry that are sticking in and out with them, arrows and stuff, kind of reset, because he didn't have time before to just kind of make sure that whatever returns to the earth isn't being, dragging any poisons like from the metals and stuff.
It's at this point as well you notice that the individuals, the people, they are also decomposing the exact same way as the Zook. Their essence is falling back into the earth in this beautiful form of natural decay with no rot involved, no stench, no touch of evil here, even though evil is what brought this down. Some twisted form of dark energies. And it's at that point that you kind of reach down and you're pulling an arrow shaft from a small goblin-shaped form that was once a member of your found family, an elderly goblin who had serviced you over the years and been friends with you and counseled you, and he had
probably like like a mechanic that would help with repairs and stuff. Maybe.
Exactly. That's what I
don't
meant.
make that look, Dave. Dave with that face.
Yeah. There's an oil change and then there's an oil change. I mean,
Well, I mean,
But,
yeah, clanks are highly adaptable. So for different cases, you
Yeah.
probably would have had different, arm modifications that you might need for
Sure.
different terrains.
Your foot clinks off something, and you look down, and it's a blackened resonance crystal, and it looks like it's spent, and it's dark and twisted and broken in on itself.
I'll pick it up.
You pick it up, and then you also look, and you start to notice that there's one or two more of them dotted amongst the grouping. Ramble, at this point, how far up have you gone?
He's traveling at standard walking speed at this point, so
Paradox
depending
is
how
taking
far
his
away it
time,
was,
so
he'll be probably quite far out from the group and approaching this. If he gets to within sort of 30 feet or so, there's nothing there. Yeah, he'll actually just call out, "Is someone there? Hello?"
You kind of look up again, and higher up now in the kind of in the branches of a tree, you see the face again as it peers out from, and it's kind of like a white alabaster face with seemingly green fur on it and bright eyes as it moves quickly and then disappears.
Do I
back
think
into
that's
the
a
foliage.
young Simia?
It
Do I not
looks,
see enough
I
of them to?
mean, it definitely looks female in form. You can't really tell of an age from this distance, but and again, as the head moves back in, there's a flutter of foliage out.
I am Rambala Yuta of the Kalibuta tribe. Who might you be up there?
You hear kind of rumblings, chitters and chirps from inside the foliage. Are you right up at the kind of the
He'd
tree
have
line at
stepped
this
a few
point?
steps closer now. Yeah, he's pretty close.
Okay.
Within 10 feet or so.
Okay. Are you right up on the tree line, or are you just outside it?
He wouldn't be in it. He'd be just outside it because obviously he's trying. If he's that person can be within it, he doesn't yet know where the best place to enter is to try to find them. But he's
Okay.
close.
You've stepped out of the valley piece where the Zook bodies are, so that air becomes thicker and denser, and you notice that there's now kind of like the foliage is very close to you, and the pollen is thick in the air. I need you to make a.
Here we go.
Now. Make a control roll, please.
That is finesse. Right. Boop. That is a 24 with fear.
24 with fear. 1 second. I just need to make a roll here. Okay, I'm going to spend 2 fear.
Scary session today.
You kind of catch yourself in your breath. Some of the pollen gets jammed in your nostrils, and when you look up, and you start to see more faces appear, simian faces kind of poke out from the trees. And then you see that one central female face, and she seems to be a paw reaches out, and she beckons you forward, and you see compelled to move into the tree line. The rest of you at this point, Lanafir in particular, I need you all to give me a perceive roll.
Gotcha. Cool. Thick.
I do not recognize you as he steps forward following. Yeah.
But you are hesitant around you Ramble.
I mean, he's
Alright.
he's
25 with hope.
Okay, but with your role, Rep, you didn't automatically rush into the tree line. You just
but there's nothing at the minute. No, he's surprised there's such a large group of Simia here because there hasn't been previously. He's not rushing in. He's obviously
No, he's just
he's on his own.
kind of walking. Yeah.
Dave crit
He's
again.
ready
I got
to
another
fight.
crit
Also-
there for
another
2 and
crit.
2.
Wow.
Nice.
22 of fear.
Not a crit.
Not
It is a crit. It's not a tumor.
22 with fear, and then you got 22 with
24
hope,
with
24 with
Yep.
hope, and Lana Fear got 25 with hope. So straight away,
Damn.
James looks up, and you notice straight away you just see Ramble moving into a tree line above the valley, and he's well away. He's a good far distance away from you at this point. And then as James looks up and kind of gestures, you all turn, and you see Ramble slowly but surely moving into the tree line. And as you see him, he just disappears into the foliage.
You look at
Somebody
Lanifer
grab
and
him.
go,
He's reverse Homer Simpson.
He'll look at Lanifer and go, you want to go, put some reins on your boy there.
Lanifer is already like, Rambo, where are you going?
He's not rambling anymore.
Are the
And
rest
yeah,
of you
Come
following?
get your
Yeah.
ram.
Guess so.
Yeah. Paradox, you
Yeah.
take one last look at the Zook as you stand up and move away,
Yeah.
heading after your friends. I take it you'll be the last to move, I'm guessing.
Probably that's probably what causes that fear. In that
Yeah.
he's just like he stops because something in him feels. In that moment, he's like, "I should have been here," and then
Yeah.
Before everyone goes, could I play a heartbreaking song?
Yeah.
when you
I'm
violin.
going to use my troubadour subclass and I'm going to play a very heartbreaking song. I don't know. I mean, I think he's just going to go strong. I'm gonna take the first part of that word, and James is gonna go. Till now, I always got by on my own. I never really cared until I met you. Yeah. And everyone gets a hope. Close, and me and any close allies
Nice.
gain 1 hope.
Nice.
Okay.
So,
And one headache, but
unfortunately, Ramble is too far away for that.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
So,
But I just want to give everyone a little bit of a bump.
so everyone starts making their way up towards where they saw Ramble disappear into the kind of the bush, and Paradox is last to move up. Lanifer, you will be up straight away, and you go straight in.
We're going straight in.
Straight in. So just before
Ramble!
you is into looking for Ramble, as you step in, pushing your way through, you're shaking your head and you're calling out, and you're used to the language of your people, and you hear these kind of, it's like you've heard different variations of it from different tribes. But this is one you're not able to place. Give me a perceive or a knowledge roll, whatever one you prefer in this moment.
Well, that's
Carry-
going to make no difference because they're both equally. Boop. That would be. I'm going to spend my. No, yeah, that would be 19 with fear. I'll not spend my last prayer die.
Okay. You can't place this dialect. It's like somebody is. You've heard people like Lanifer try to imitate your language and learn your language, and there's always that inflection or a lack of accent. That's what this sounds like. It's like somebody trying to speak your language. It is not native. This tongue is not native. And just at that moment, you push into a clearing as your head clears slightly, just with that thought on your mind, and you push through, and there's another burst of pollen. As you look up and you see the face of the female simian high in this tree line, and she's looking down on you, and you just see the face twitch and turn. And then it just elongates.
Oh
out.
no.
A face sitting on the end of a long, green, vine-like neck as this imposter face. This porcelain skin, translucent, molds itself into a representation of a female of your species. And you see other smaller faces protrude out from the trees. And then large vines twist and turn as they move out into this clearing. And at the base of this tree, a huge trunk, a massive split in the trunk, is a huge maw of twisted, horrible, pus-filled fangs at the base of this tree opens out, and tendrils flick out towards you. I need you to make a finesse roll for me to see if you avoid this. Just as Lanifer presses out into the clearing, and careening behind Lanifer, the remainder of your troops stumble in just in time to see this creature, this fake plant-like individual, pierce out. What did you get?
That's an 11 with hope.
11 with hope.
I don't have much hope though.
You gain a hope, but these tendrils whip out and grab you with your appendages and start pulling you towards the open maw.
Well,
We are now. Everyone now sees this in front of them. What are we doing in this moment?
Power push.
Power push. So this is this a spell cast?
Are you pushing me
Yes.
into the moor? This is where we're
No,
going.
I'm pushing the giant
Straight
plant
in.
that's trying to eat you.
Eat him faster.
No, okay.
Power push. So it's a
Um,
spell cast roll. 2d10 plus 2 damage.
Very
so go
far,
ahead.
actually. I'm going to use ice spikes. This is going to be a new spell.
Okay, I suppose.
We all
Since
took our
this is a
antihistamines.
very far range, so just
Okay.
as Lanfear flies through the canopy, she kind of does like a flourish with the gnarled wooden staff that is far too big for her. And I will roll to see if she can summon her very icy spikes.
Okay, go for it.
Let me see here.
Everyone be thinking about what you just want to do in this moment.
Could I just suggest a retcon and
Yeah,
remind Repcon that he has a rally dice? If that
Oh,
might have helped
true. Okay, I will.
Yeah,
With your
Oh.
finesse roll.
I had forgotten about that actually.
I will hold off.
I will allow you to roll that if you wish.
Could I also spend a hope and use my acrobatic
Of course,
on that?
of course,
Lovely.
of course, of
Sorry,
course,
well-
of course.
So that adds that was 11, 13, D6 is that rally die.
Yep.
Yep.
Boop. So that puts me to a 18, and I'll burn my last prayer die to make that 19.
Nice. Okay. Good
With-
stuff.
with
Yeah,
hope.
So with that,
Ooh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If I had
with
forgotten
that,
the rally die.
the tendrils whip out, and you just clear your head real quick and just spin on the spot. You see, as Rambo just does a flip over, and the tendrils flick out, and they try to grab.
Full
at you.
Superman, do Spider-Man.
Yeah. Full on, and they pull themselves back real quick, and you manage to deftly get out of it. You see this creature now. You thought it was a tree or a plant of some formation, but it begins to move as it uproots itself, and this kind of trundling along. All of these faker heads that are on vines all reach out. You just see their mouths are like opening in weird juxtaposition jaw hinges, just like as these flick out towards you as they each kind of strike out. Okay, so Lannifer, you would have gone in there to do an attack.
Pretty
What do you
high
want to do in this
Yeah,
moment?
she will attempt to cast ice spikes.
Okay,
If I can go next, I would love to.
of course, James, no problem.
What is that is a +3. Let's see. Okay, that is going to be a. What is it doing? What are you doing? Perfect. That is going to be a 21 with fear.
That definitely hits. I'll take the fear. Thank you very much. So you hit. So because you rolled a fear, I get to activate it now. Okay. So I'm
Yes.
going to spend 3 fear.
Can you spend like as many fears you want in one go?
Depending on the action it needs to do, there's a cost to the action.
That's
of the creature.
fucking cool. I just thought you
So
could spend
I-
one at a time, but you can spend more.
No,
and
no.
more.
It
So this
keeps the
creature-
flow, like,
That's
yeah.
cool.
If
so,
this
like-
creature has like a power action and
Mm.
it costs me 3 fear to activate it, I spend the 3
Okay.
fear if I have it. And it
Like
does a power
That's
AP
cool.
or MP or
So
something.
yeah,
That's
so this
awesome.
thing, one of this thing's extreme power. This is a creature I've created. It's called a void plant, and it's essentially it has these mimic faces that lure in its prey.
Nice.
So what these faces all see all of you now flick into this space. I'm going to spend 3 fear to activate it. What this does, all of the faces focus on everyone, and the faces all start to meld and mold and form into an alluring form that you would find alluring. I need everyone in the group that is in range that can see this, which will be everyone, to make a let me see now on this. You need to.
Does James
against
just see a
make-
mirror? Is this what he gets on?
It's just James. Just James's face. But I need everyone to make a control roll, please, for me.
That's copyright infringement. Beast, I name thee Napster.
This creature's name is
Abomination.
Napster. Yeah.
Livewire.
Shit, yeah, James is bad at these, so it's okay. Finesse.
A straight roll for me.
2d12 minus 1.
22 with hope.
Aim for me.
7
Okay,
with
nice.
hope.
7 with that's a 7 with hope. Yeah.
I'm
Can
gonna
I
use
use-
my rally die on that.
16
I
with
think.
hope.
Can
Nice.
Can I use my reassurance spell on Lanathair? After an ally attempts an action roll before the consequences take place, I can offer assistance or support,
Nice.
and they can re-roll their dice.
Go for it. That's lovely. It's a good ability.
So essentially, he's looking back at that point, and it's Lana. He's basically just you know the gesture. The gesture is get out of here.
That's a 16 with fear.
16 with fear. I'll take the fear.
This
Thank
is
you
a
very much.
16.
At
Uh,
least we're
Wayne.
passing.
Okay.
Question, sorry.
Yes.
So just with regards to on Twitch with the kind of the boons that we're applying or the
Oh, yeah.
the inspiration in 5e. Now obviously in 5e that's a
This will give- so that I'm allowing
reroll,
for the
but are we
boons.
treating this as a reroll or is it
It's
like
advantage.
as if it were
It's
advantage?
advantage. It's advantage.
So we
I
have
I
boons and
thought the
inspirations.
boons are 1d4, and then the
Inspirations 1d6, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
so the boons is a
good.
1d4 to add on.
Okay.
Not, and
Am
then
I
the-
allowed to add that retroactively, Wayne, to
Yes. Go ahead.
use the
Yes, go ahead.
inspiration and do the d6? Because
Yes.
probably still fail, but that was, as it stands, that is a 6 with fear. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Fear.
d6.
And these tendrils are all kind of sending out. You see these faces.
It's only a
shift and
9,
change.
still a 9
9.
with fear, so not
All
much.
of you manage to push past what seems to be some form of hypnotic essence that are pushing out from these faces, all apart from Dog. You all watch as Dog stands there, weapon arm limp, blade by his side, and just starts to slowly walk towards the gaping maw of this creature. And these
Uh-oh.
the tendrils are starting to move around him and gingerly gesture him in, as these faces are just like, but Dog seems to be the only one affected. The rest of you all see this happen. James, you wanted to go next. What did you want to do?
Yeah, so I just have a question about my rune circle. So I'm gonna grab this. So use an action to mark a stress and create a temporary magical circle on the ground around you. Is it just me, or is it like me and...
You, yeah, just
So
you.
any creatures in melee range of the circle or who enter melee range take 2d12 plus 4 magic damage and a push out. So that's even my allies. Or is there a way to allow my allies to stay in
I
there?
take it anyone that's in melee range. So anyone that's attacking you, I'm taking that as. That's what I would read that as.
Okay, cool.
Anyone
So,
that is physically stepping in to do you damage, and your colleagues and your partners.
so I could conceivably like just anime run straight in and just slide in, wrap an arm around Dog's neck, and then just blast this rune circle right beside this thing.
I'll allow it.
That's
Go for it.
that's what I'm gonna
Damn.
do.
Sick.
So he's
for it.
like,
Yeah.
you see the forest running by him, flying by him as he just runs in, and he'll sort of slide down on one knee, grab Dog around the waist, and he'll just go, just slam his hand in the ground, and you see all these
To the mosh pit, brother.
yeah, but that's exactly what he's creating. He's creating a mosh pit, yeah. So you say, "Welcome to the fucking mosh pit," and so he's going to do that. So I will take a stress.
Yeah, take a stress.
Yeah, where's my stress?
And what is it? 2d12 damage, is it?
Yeah, I'm going to roll it now. I need to find where my stress is. Oh, here we go. Cool.
Just below your H points.
Yep, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a stress. And I am going to do 2d12 plus 4 magic damage, and it's pushed away.
Okay. So
I'll drop this into the Roll20 chat if you want to read it yourself.
There are tendrils that are starting to wrap around Dog. So as you rush in and you cast that spell and you cast the rune circle, you all of a sudden there is a force, like just a shredding of metal, as in, just emanates out of you. And
13
as the
points of
runes embed themselves. 13 points of damage. Did you take into it? Nice. I'll take that. Where's this bad boy?
So how does that go over the minor damage? Is there any way to tell? Or
we
there's no
don't
way
know
to-
yet.
No,
not
like
you
for
can
the
tell that,
viewers, is that a thing, or
so
are we gonna?
there is so
Let's
these
go, let's
creatures,
go.
the way it works in Daggerheart for folks that are watching, there is what's called your minor damage, your major damage, and your severe damage. So, for example, I'll tell James as an example because it's James in the action.
Mhm.
He has a minor damage of up to 7. So if somebody hits him for up to 7 damage, he marks 1 HP. He can use an armor slot to move that down and not take any damage, but he marks an armor slot. If it hits him for anything between 7 and 12, that's major damage, which is marks 2 HP. And again, he can spend armor slots to reduce that. And then severe damage, anything over 12, he has to mark 3 HP or mark armor slots to reduce the damage down. In the same vein, the bad guys that you fight against, the NPCs that you fight against this, also have the same principle. Now, 13 for this creature goes into its major damage slots. This creature, I will stay out straight because we haven't done a lot of combat, has no armor. So it doesn't have any armor slot. This is a plant. And it is only a newborn. It's only literally been birthed in the last 24 hours.
Okay.
So this is
Ew.
fresh into the world. This is it in its infancy.
Bliss.
So this thing is huge. And this is it in its infancy.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Right? So it's
cool.
only-
Baby
yeah, it's-
destroyer.
So it's
Hell
pushed
yeah.
away.
Yeah.
I obviously there's nothing within my ability that allows me to sort of extricate dog from its sort of tendrily grip. So that's all I've got.
So the tendrils around it get pushed. They were starting to form around him. You ran in, grabbed him, cast your rune circle, and the tendrils were like.
Oh,
and
great!
they
That's
they were-
that's brilliant.
You
Yeah,
literally shredded them. They were
awesome.
just like, and you just see them, and there's like ichor and pus flipping out from the ends of the broken and twisted ends of the tendrils.
So do we?
And yeah.
Yeah. So is that like? Do we have major actions, minor actions here, or can I slap him in the face, try and
You can indeed,
help him
yeah,
come
no,
to?
You can
more
definitely
free
slap him
flow
in the
than that.
face. And at this point, then you just need to roll again, dog, to see if you can wake up.
And can I spend a hope to help him?
You can spend a hope to give him advantage.
I'll spend a hope to give him advantage.
Could I act next then, Wayne?
Of course you can.
Yeah.
And anyone else wants to start thinking about what you
So,
want to do, just let me know.
as then when Paradox kind of sees all this going on,
Let's see if he gets if he
Yeah,
makes his
whatever.
roll.
11 with hope. I'll at least take the hope.
did you roll your
11 will
d6?
I did, yeah. That's 2d12.
You
plus
also have a
D6
boon
minus
if you want to drop that.
I could drop the boon as well, actually.
On
yeah,
a
'cause I'll have
D4.
that. Yeah, because I
I
want
mean,
to.
we may as well start using these things.
Mhm. And the
So
rally only
5.
works to the end of your session.
Yeah.
Rally! Shit, could I? Yeah.
2.
13.
That's a 13 in total. I will say, you notice as you start slapping dog, he starts to like the dazed look in his eyes. He starts to kind of come to, but you're not going to come to for at least another round.
That's
You are
fair.
starting
Yeah.
to come out, okay?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
Well,
starting to get
I
woken
figured
up.
I'd go kind of at the back anyway, because it doesn't seem
Yeah.
right for dog to,
All of a sudden,
you
jump
know,
into it.
jump ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Paradox, what are you doing?
Yeah, so I'm going to use my corrosive projectile ability. So Paradox
Okay.
like bursts through the kind of foliage, and as he does, he kind of just leaps up. His arm opens, like his left arm raises up, and his hand rotates and slams back into his wrist, and the arm opens, and there's just this glowing green energy starting to come out of it, and he just like lashes out with this like beam of like, it's not actually like an acidic substance, it's just this corrosive energy.
Okay.
And I'm going to use this. So spellcast roll is +2. That roll? No. Okay. So 2d12 plus. Can I add an experience to that at all? I don't think so, right? For damage rolls.
For
Or attack
well, if
rolls.
you're for attack rolls, I mean, if your experience is damage or attack based,
It would be more like the well, I was thinking the quick hands to do the quick draw and fire.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Yeah,
If it's
because
if it
it's
needs to be
literally his
retconned
hand.
later, if you want to do it, yeah, I'll add you can add the +2.
I'll drop the hope to do
Maybe
that.
you
And
need
I'll
stuff for this, but
also
yeah.
mark a stress in this. That's a 18 with hope.
yeah, go on, yeah, roll your damage.
Yeah,
hits.
that is. I'm going to use my rally on the damage. So an extra d6. So that is 3d6 plus 4 damage. That's going to be a total of 17 points of damage.
17 points of damage. Nice.
The
Damn.
target's difficulty is also reduced by 1.
Okay. So you fire the beam. Do you aim straight into the midsection?
Yeah,
of this
so
creature?
like kind of as Ramble flips and then James does that, there's like an opening, and that's where he aims like straight through between the gaps.
Yeah, you just see Ramble do the pirouette and flip through the air, and then James is sliding in, and in between the two of them, you just fire this beam of concentrated green energy, and it just collides straight into the open mouth of this creature, just slamming right into this weird purplish veiny tongue that seems to be fleshy and sticking out of its mouth, and it just severs the tip off the top of the tongue, and you see this corrosive energy starts melting into its mouth, and it's
He's got a lift.
and screaming that the tendrils flip out in pain. Did you hit? You did. You hit with hope. Okay, grand. So
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to do in this moment?
Yes, I'm going to use my ferocity ability. So I'm going to mark 2 hope to temporarily increase my evasion by the number of hit points I dealt. So my evasion goes up, 17? So I'm at
Jesus
20.
No, hit points,
nice.
not
Oh,
damage.
hit points, yeah. So sorry, hit points, not
Hit
damage.
points,
That would be
A lot.
crazy broken
Yeah, it would
otherwise.
be actually.
Yeah, very broken. Okay, so does anyone else want to jump in here at this point?
How many hit points did I do to this guy at all? Or did we...
Well, you did your damage, didn't you?
17 damage.
Sorry, 17. So the 17 damage took down. Let me see, just let me confirm this on its stats. Okay, yeah, you took a couple of hit points off for sure.
So 2.
Yep,
Yeah,
If we
cool.
can, I'd like to tag team with Lanafir.
you can indeed. Go for it.
And because my axe I can use as a ranged weapon, so I essentially want to, and it has a space in the middle where magical energy can collect. So essentially, she knows this move where I fling it in, and she'll cast a spell that the axe will deliver to where it needs to be.
Okay.
Power push.
So whatever spells, I mean, that's always up to her. But essentially, I duck to one side, fling the axe out, and somewhere in that motion, a
That's
spell will
hilarious.
intercept it. It'll impact, do damage, and then the spell goes.
Nice.
I think Lanafir uses the staff as a baseball bat to like.
Okay, I need you. But you both roll attack.
Yeah.
And you take the highest, and then you spend the hope. See, the person who's initiating the tag team spends. I think it's 3 hope.
It's
to
free hope.
initiate
Yep,
it.
I've got
Yeah.
a 5, so I'm absolutely burning through those for that. Should I get that number right first? Okay.
So we both rolled to attack, correct?
And just to reduce difficulty by 1, that means his AC is essentially reduced if we're using D&D terms.
Yeah.
And I also
23
get
with
plus
fear.
1 because of it being that what prepared it is. So that's a 20 with fear.
God
Both of you's
damn
got
it.
it with fear.
So-
So they both either or will get past. Its evasion is dirt because it's literally dirt. because
Literally.
it's land.
Hey.
Like it can move, but it's not overly evasive. So both of those would hit. So, but the highest was Lanafir, I believe. Yes.
Yes.
So
23, yeah.
Lanafir, you would then roll. You would roll your damage for this. So roll the damage. I think both of you rolled the damage and then add it up together, as far as I remember. But it's just you're
Okay.
initiating it, so you spend your hope, Ramble. That's where it works.
That is 10 points of damage.
Okay.
And 11 points of magical damage from me.
The 22. So that definitely is on the. Let's see now. That is definitely on the major side. That takes it down for 4 hit points. So it is starting to look hurt, and it's looking angry as these tendrils are now flicking out. Both of you rolled with fear, so I get to activate it again. I'm
Yeah.
going to spend 3 fear, and it's going to do a triple whip attack at Paradox. And I'm going to spend another fear, but to specifically aim for your arm that you've now shot out of.
Ooh.
It's fucking whiplash.
I just rolled a crit.
Shut up,
Okay,
gamer.
and do I have
Okay.
anything I can do?
I actually rolled. Oh my
Not
god!
my turn.
So I rolled a double crit. I rolled
Oh
20
my
on one
God.
dice and 20. I actually got a double 20.
Okay.
Wow.
So I just realized that now because the only reason I didn't realize it straight away was it's the Baldur's Gate symbol. So I was like, what's that again? So it's a double, and then this one is just a straight up 20.
So
So
what does a
that's
double
it.
20 mean?
So that were for the first 2 hits. So it's a triple attack. So I'm gonna roll for the third one. So that one's a 5. So swings and roundabouts.
So like, you roll d20s when we're rolling.
I roll d20s. Yeah, I roll d20s.
We roll d12s.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Okay.
but the DM
I suppose
the GM doesn't roll with the whole fear.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Should have realized
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
I only get my fear from you generating it, and then I spend
That's
that fear. with
super
my d20s.
fucking cool.
So I just critted twice on Paradox. The tendrils wrap out towards your arm. They crit twice, and then the third one missed. Okay, so
God damn. Jesus.
How much
Okay.
damage am I taking, man?
All
I'll
of
tell you
it.
now.
All of the,
The dice-
damage
the
in
dice are
Daggerheart.
Yes,
doubled on this.
yes.
The
That's
dice
how
are
much
doubled on
damage.
this. This is powerful.
Emergency healing.
I think we have
I got it.
emergency.
There was a question. I was like, yeah, is Ramble that kind of cleric, priest, or whatever the is in Dagger?
I mean,
Doubled, so 20.
maybe a bit.
I was like,
The first one,
like, do we
the
have
first one
any?
hits you. The first one, it wraps around your arm and it pulls, and it hits you for 30 damage.
Oh my
that's-
god.
That's
Jesus.
severe damage threshold then.
Now you
It's
have
really-
armor you can spend on this.
I
You wanna
don't-
spend your.
4 by 7. 7. I'm gonna reduce by 4. Well, so I can reduce by up to 7 times 4, right?
You can you can spend as many armor slots as you want. You've got 4 armor, so you can spend that 7 times in total.
So that's maths.
But that's
maths.
only for the first crit.
Yeah.
Sweet baby Jesus.
I'm gonna just take the damage in the first one. So that's what, 3 hit points.
3 hit points into you. Now, if you may, I'm going to put some flavor on this, okay? Bit of lore. The arm
Bit of-
just goes, and you just feel the joint at your shoulder twist and bend, and it starts to, and some of that corrosive energy starts to leak out of the arm, and then as those are still wrapped around you, and they're going for a second pull.
Yep.
So this is the damage on the second crit. Okay, it's not as bad. It's still bad, but it's not as bad. 16. Okay. That's 26.
Okay, I'm
Second.
going to use 3 by 7.
56 points of damage.
I'm going to use 4 armor slots to reduce that to 0. Less than
Okay,
0.
cool. So you don't take, so it goes to pull, and you reef back as you kind of are braced for it the second time, and you don't take any damage. But you notice that you feel the tendrils as they pull off, they kind of pull some of the plating with it, and that's where the armor is reduced. So you've spent those armor.
Actually, I've had
slots.
to I've had to spend all my armor. They reduce it down to 2. So so if I get less than, sorry, I might be, my brain is right. My minor damage
That's okay.
threshold is 8. So that means if I get it to doing less than 8 damage, I don't take damage, or
You mark
No, you
one
don't-
hit
you
point.
just-
Up,
Do
yeah,
mark
one hit point.
HP.
Up to 8.
yeah.
Up to up to 8 goes through your armor, you take 1 hit point.
Okay, so I'll reduce it to 8.
So you've okay.
If you reduce
you've
it to
now-
0, Wayne, will you take 0? Will you mark 0 hit points?
If you reduce it completely down, you don't take any hit. You don't take any
Yeah.
hits at all.
Yep.
Your
I
armor
want to
absorbs
save
the
at
entire
least
damage.
1 or 2
So,
slots.
so in that moment, then you've taken a full 4 slots off your HP. Is that correct?
I've taken
okay.
4 slots, yeah.
Just a heads up, on
Okay.
Demiplane, there is a calculate damage feature.
I've started to use that just now.
Very
So,
handy.
yeah.
Nice. It's a good function. So you all watch as the tendrils in anger reach out to Paradox, grab him by his arm cannon, and start pulling him towards it. And then you see the sparks and the corrosive as his arm nearly gets pulled out of its socket.
Can I go? Or is
Yes.
there a ram? Yeah,
The
look,
then-
dog
I mean,
hasn't gone yet.
oh, sorry.
Dog.
I was gonna say, would
Well,
you
that's what
mind
dog-
if
That's fine, of course.
So yeah,
if
go
I'm
ahead,
not
dog.
if I'm
you
kind of
literally
not-
come
Sorry, I,
through
ju- I
and
just
hear-
lost track of the.
Oh no,
That's-
yeah, you're absolutely
yeah.
fine.
The
You
order,
can
yeah.
go ahead of me if you want. He
No,
might
no.
have- I mean, he's gonna just be going and swinging. It's not. He's
I'm
So
just
not-
going to
basically-
cook it again like I did with the.
Yeah.
With the
So
other guy.
what happens is that Paradox, do you let any scream of pain or anything like that? Do you feel it?
Dead silent, actually. Like, it's like,
Okay.
like there's anger, but he's dead silent.
You just
Losing
hear
the
like
first
the
word.
kind of like there's like the strain of the metal, and it snaps you out, dog, as you
Oh.
come to fully awake. Blade tight, your hand tightening around the hilt of your blade, as you come awake and you see this monstrosity in front of you.
Blink.
James hanging on to you, and that circle of arcane energy around you.
He doesn't really know. All he knows is it's go time. All he knows is,
I
you
can
know.
hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, so he's just gonna take.
James is going, welcome to the mosh
pit.
pit, motherfucker.
Unfortunately, you know, no disrespect to Mithralica, but my subclass is Call of the Slayer, and so I have built up a couple
Hell
of Slayer
yeah.
dice in exchange. Whenever I get hope, I can instead place a D6 on the card, but you can take a Slayer, turn it into a Slayer dice for attacks or damage. But so you let me know. I think some of these things seem to be kind of not like a passive, but you tell me whether it's essentially an action or not. So I can, once per short rest, I can do Deadly Focus. Once per short rest, you can apply all your focus towards a single target, choose that target until you attack another target, you defeat the creature or the battle ends, you add +1 to your proficiency. So kind of a, you know, mark in it kind of thing. Could I do that as part of me, you know, as part of my
you just
intent to go
declare
attack
it.
him?
It's an ability you have. Yeah, just declare it.
Yeah, and I think looking at the proficiency is that's part of the calculation of damage, isn't it? It seems to get added to the weapon damage.
Think
It's
so,
the number of
yeah.
dice you roll.
Yeah, number of dice you roll.
Oh, the
That's
number of
+1
dice I
to-
roll. That's right.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that'll turn his greatsword then against this into 3d10s. So what I'm going to do, he's going to go in recklessly. So my reckless ability, I can mark a stress to take advantage on an attack roll. So I am going to mark a stress, and then I'm going to go in with a greatsword attack, and I'm going to use the Slayer dice for the damage roll because I've already got advantage. So that's a +3. It's still 2d12 for the attack roll. Is it?
It is.
I mean, it is. Yeah, I just wanted to just triple check. So 2d12 plus a d6 plus 3 is 21, but
That
with
beats its
fear.
evasion. Yeah,
21 with fear. It's a hit.
Okay.
So this will be.
Oh, he gets to hit me again.
Yeah, this will be 3d12 plus a d6 plus 7.
Jesus
And
Christ.
so
That's gonna hurt. That's you might not get to.
plus d6 plus 7 with his greatsword. Oh, sorry, I didn't do the command. I'm 3d10 plus d6 plus 7. That is 28 damage.
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you take it down?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I was like, I actually don't have. I can spend hope to re-roll dice, and I also re-roll 1s and 2s.
Yeah, it had
none
you'd
of them.
gone into its major, and it only had 7 HP left.
It is just seeing all this as they've created the open. You know, with it's been pushed back. It's disoriented. Well, it's reeling from the mosh pit strike, and where it is, the more it's opening up in it. It's been he sees that basically like where its kind of jaw would hinge, at either side of its mouth. The corrosion from Paradox is kind of eating away at it and weakening it. So he just runs in with the sword, almost like he goes in, drops. He actually detaches his shield and he just drives both in and just rips up. And with the corrosion eating the flesh, just bisects it, splits it in two up the middle, and just.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you just, as you do, you embed the blade and start reefing it up and pulling it and pulling it and pulling it, and it just slashes up through this fleshy bark, and you kind of like it's full on Hadouken uppercut with the blade.
Hell yeah.
And it's like, show you
again.
And
dog uppercut
goes right up. And the tendrils with the void faces on it, the mimic faces, all like. And they all scream out at once as their pustule faces just and they bubble up, and then they just start to pop. All faces just go, and the tendrils then start to flop to the ground as the whole thing just. And it's like it's like a tree falling in the forest essentially, and at the base of it, then covered in gore with corrosion just dripping off him. You just see Dog standing there. And he's just.
James will look at him and just play a chord and go.
Oh yeah. We were killing that, yeah.
James will play a chord and go, I
Gross!
guess they had to face the music.
Nice.
And just to make sure this thing doesn't propagate with seeds, as Paradox is kind of reeling away from the bending, going limp tendrils, his jaw drops and slides apart, and he fires another corrosive shot directly out of his face.
Okay, just straight away hits.
Yeah, just
I will say, Paradox, that kind of has dislocated your shoulders, so
Yeah.
you're kind of slumping to one side, and there is a kind of a disadvantage now on your shooting with your arm.
Yeah.
As part of that, so you're going to have to repair yourself to try and get that back working.
Would reasonably Paradox have spare parts back in the carriage?
Good help.
Before you're doing all that bit, Ramble will look round you. Thank you, that was unexpected. You'll see the damage that's been done to Paradox.
Yeah.
And he'll head over. And as he heads over, you see this shimmer starts to go around him as this simian form, just in goldish celestial light,
Right.
condenses down, and I will use sparing touch, and you can clear 2 hit points.
Oh, nice.
Nice. And
What
your
else
arm
about
does
rest?
your
Don't
arm
boot
does
you
kind
to
of
the-
move back in a bit. It's still a bit stiff,
Yeah.
but it has been healed up. So
We can have a look at that in our next rest.
Is everyone
gonna-
else okay? Do we have our bits and pieces attached? So somewhat.
I've got all the bits and pieces attached.
It's
to me
attached
right now.
wrong.
Does somebody
now, but
have a
it's
cloth.
still there.
Prestidigitation. She'll go around and cast prestidigitation on people.
It's time for the
Starting to like
follow.
magic now.
We've got a new follow, so thank you very much.
Oh,
Hit our
hey,
follow
Oh,
goal
thank you.
560.
nice.
40 more to
Wonderful.
600.
like a nice round number. Hmm? Yeah.
Okay, so as you all kind of start to pull back from the combat, as this creature now lays dead in this kind of clearing, and this forest, this mutated space around you, you hear strange noises in the distance as silence starts to fall around you, and you kind of gather yourselves up. What does the group want to do in this moment? Do you want to just pack up, look around, or do you want to keep going, or what do you want to do?
I mean, I want to go home, but I think we should push on the way we need to go.
Make a quick pit stop back. I think I had a spare component for my arm back there. I'm not 100% certain if it'll still be there, but
We can
it'll
certainly
make
have a
fixing
look.
this easier.
Agreed,
Yeah.
even if
I'm
it
not-
takes us some work tonight.
Yeah.
I think we keep going. We've got shit to do.
It'll take like 2 minutes. My carriage is, and Paradox will point back through the foliage.
It's kind
Maybe.
of on the way back out for sure.
Yeah.
It's on the way back.
It's on our
out.
way.
Yeah.
The main thoroughfare.
What happens when you
Um,
run out of parts?
Well, I mean, magic can repair me. I can. A lot of settlements do have people who sell, clanks, parts. We're known for modifying our bodies.
Philip Doug says probably the same thing
Yeah.
that happens when you or I run out of parts.
You hardly, and then Paradox's
Not
jaw
quite the
will.
same, but
Paradox's jaw will do that
I
again, where
get
the
joke.
the kind of cannon that's hidden in his mouth
Yeah.
thing is there. He's like, you hardly think that's stock, do you?
You've got a cannon in your mouth.
I got arm and head face,
And in the mouth. Oh, that sounds like a good song.
mouth cannon.
Not really.
Well,
Cannon.
maybe not for
Mouth
maybe not for
cannon.
Mithralicca, but for
Mouth
maybe
cannon.
kids.
Steel
my,
Panther, maybe, but mouth cannon.
My words are acidic, I guess you could say.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
Like I'll say, this
You're
is like
spitting
this is the
rhymes.
banter. This is the banter as the group are making their
Yeah.
way back out of this clearing of decay.
Yeah.
and down.
Also, the
Fast.
first time
Yeah.
Paradox is really engaged in banter.
Yeah, yeah.
He seems
Banter,
happier coming out of
engaged.
combat.
Yeah, and you
And
step
your
down and you go to the Zook just for expediency and brevity here.
Mm.
You go to the large kind of Zook remnants that your remains that you were housed in once, and you do after a couple of minutes find spare parts, bits and bobs, that you
Yeah.
can- bolts and welding materials that you can pack up and bring with you.
Yeah, essentially he's just grabbing his he probably had a repair kit stored there for this
Yeah.
exact thing, like the goblin who I have been trying to come up with a name but I've struggled, would have kind of prepped for him, but because of the expediency and the haste that this needs to be reported now, I need to get out of here. He didn't have a time to stop and grab.
And as the group pack up their equipment and start packing themselves up, checking themselves off, dusting off gore and grime from the battle, and clearing their heads of any influential spores that they may have inhaled, you head back out on the track. Paradox eventually catching up and leading the way. I'm sure Paradox looks back at some point and checks
Yeah.
the place behind him as you see the remnants of the Zook, their magic still holding off mutations. But as you all turn to look at the road ahead, ruins kind of pierce the skyline, old rock formations, as the mutated foliage and these dark magics that are now claiming the earth start to claim these ruins and remnants of old villages and dwellings. And the path is becoming ever darker and less obvious as you push your way through and head towards the Dream Sphere, about a day's travel from your current location. And that's where we're going to leave this week's session. Thank you, everyone.
That was awesome.
Good.
Wayne,
Oh,
thank you
good,
so
Wayne.
much for all
Bravo.
As always, yeah.
the amazing creativity you've poured into this story and the world that we all created, but also, I mean, primarily, like we're in your playground. So thank you so much.
What a
Let's not
journey
be
it
It's
is.
been amazing. It's been awesome.
Tree, like, no, that's enough on the trees.
Absolute
Good than that.
masterclass.
And thank you to chat for staying with us if you have done so. As always,
Yeah.
it is our pleasure to bring these stories to you, and we couldn't do this without you. With that said, we will be back on Tuesday, where Kara gets to gets to bring his players through the Dwarven tomb, and they can see what fun lies right in the center of that bit, because it's so much fun. I promised them that.
Should we do a raid?
We can absolutely do a raid.
Who have we got? I always like to pick the person with the lowest views.
If you want to see what happens on Daggerheart, you can pop onto Demiplane and see for yourself. The instructions are all there. It does link with Roll20. We just haven't set it up tonight because we're switching between them, but that'll be up and running next time round. And as you can influence the game, so feel free to put stuff through. Wayne, thank you as always.
Live.
As Dave gets that set up for us, where can people find you? What's your next project when you're not with us?
So you can find me over on the Irish Pubcast, on anywhere you get your podcasts. We did our latest episode of the Pubcast drop there now. We will be returning to Sorcery Shenanigans soon, once everyone gets their summer holidays and shit.
Do you want to tell people what the Pubcast is? Like, you guys just sit down and talk about stuff.
Yeah, so the Pubcast has been going since 2010.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a long time.
Long time. So it's an old. It's one of the first. I think one of the first Irish nerd podcasts that ever came about. Back in 2010, and it's been going since then with different iterations. But I've been the one mainstay. But the current team are it's kind of like the Pubcast Prime. That's what we are. Like, it's myself, Kim Brosnan, Gillian Dempsey, and we meet up in the pub and we talk about nerd shit and all sorts of stuff. And we've been doing it for donkeys. We used to be involved in conventions. We used to be at different shows. We used to host different panels. We used to do all sorts. We've been around for donkeys, but we continue on to do the podcast, not as often as we would like, but we do it as often as we can.
Is it always the same pub, or is it like you do different pubs?
More often than not, we've recently just kind of set up shop in the Thomas House.
Thomas House is a
That sounds wonderful. Oh
It's
my
just
God.
a gem of a fucking pub.
It's a nice pub.
Yeah, it is. So the lads and ladies there know us well, so we frequent there a lot. So they let us use their facilities to record both Sorcery and Shenanigans and our pub.
Oh, super cool. Okay.
So we've done. I'm trying to remember if we've done a session of Sorcery and Shenanigans there, but we've meant to, but we just never got around to it, or time never scheduling. It's always
it's the BBG. Yeah,
the BBG
is the BB.
Yeah. So, but Pubcast is a lot easier because literally, if we're not doing it on video, it's just me slapping down an iPhone and recording it. That's all it is. So
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Industry secrets.
I just recorded it. I've always just
It's just a
recorded
phone,
the
and you're all
podcast
talking at the phone.
on an iPhone.
Deadly.
At the phone. But
Crazy.
the microphones are so good on these phones that they pick up everything. Yeah. So it's really
super
good.
cool.
So,
Well, that's it. Like, you don't need crazy setups to get started, guys. Like, for anyone that wants to start into this kind of line of thing, like, as long as you have enough strong enough internet signal to upload or stream, you're generally fine.
There are episodes of the podcast where we have used microphones and I've set up proper recording sessions and for that, but same kit that we use for the Sorcery Shenanigans. But yeah, the podcast is our main nerd podcast. You can find it on anywhere you just type in Irish Pubcast and you'll find us. And yeah, check us out. There's also other stuff on the podcast stuff. You'll see previous panels that we would have done with guests like Gates McFadden from Starting Next Generation, Nick Frost.
What?
Frost?
Yeah,
didn't
Brent
know that.
Gates
Steiner.
McFadden,
There's some
Yeah.
good names
So
on
if
that.
you-
And
if you look-
Data.
I will be finding that Nick Frost
Brent
episode.
Spiner.
Brent Spiner, Troy Baker.
Dude, fuck off.
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
Actually,
What?
I think I remember Troy posting on his socials about being on that before.
yeah, so I've been around for a very long time, and I've
That's
done a lot
about,
of
yeah, but
stuff.
like not doing this. But yeah.
So I've been doing this for a while, and I've been very lucky to be interviewing a lot of great people over the years. So
Mhm.
there's some interviews there. I have some of our older ones that if you find on our stream,
Damn.
on our podcast listings, if you scroll down, you'll see all. The
I'm
panels
gonna
from-
go look for the Gates McFadden one.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be giving us Frost on
Sweet
us,
baby
definitely.
Jesus.
And yeah, I got to hang out with Brent Spiner for an entire day, and we
Nice.
did all sorts of stuff. And then
Really?
Scott Wilson of Walking Dead fame, who is now passed sadly.
Who
He
did
played Herschel in
Herschel.
Herschel in Walking Dead.
Ah.
And then a couple of other interviews with a load of other people. Just go check us out. There's stuff from there from like not all the stuff from back in 2010 is available.
Mm.
That was lost to the internet years ago due to data change, server
We've
change.
all
and
had
stuff.
that, yeah.
But there is
In the
a lot of
shattering.
recent stuff. Yeah. Shattering.
Didn't
So
There was
there's-
once one whole internet, then it broke.
yeah, there's a lot of our classic stuff is there that I was managed to salvage through backups and stuff. So
Class.
our entire catalog is not available, but there's a fair chunk of it there. So
Nice.
Amazing.
Good
Right,
stuff.
so
Oh,
there's
cool.
also, and this is what I'm very proud of, and it was a bucket list moment for me. There was an interview with me and Kevin Conroy, the Batman.
I do remember. I remember.
Shut
you-
Oh man.
How did
I will be
how
finding
did I
that.
forget you
That's my commute tomorrow.
saying that to me?
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Don't
oh
tell
my
Ryan that
god.
because Ryan will fucking shit his bags.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, no, I got to
That'd
meet
be-
Kevin Conroy
that'd be
multiple
the
times. He was a
number one.
gentleman.
Ryan got a cameo from him, but I mean,
That
like,
is why we go out, and we should go look at these things.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you very much for the pimpage. And do go
Oh
check it out.
Jesus! Well, I mean, look.
Thank you for joining us. I think.
Thank you for
Yeah,
doing
of
what
course,
you do.
yeah,
You know
like-
what?
I
I'm
think,
having a
we should
blast.
be thanking you.
And like I said in the channel, like this is like we like this is like episode 5, but it takes me a while to catch on to mechanics. But tonight was the first one where I really it really clicked for me, and like Daggerheart is awesome.
Yeah.
I will 100% be running a game of this at some stage, either here or off
It
stream.
seems,
So
it seems to be catching on everywhere. Like
yeah.
Mm.
everyone is switching to Daggerheart by the looks of it.
It's
I think for storytelling, I think it's like 5e is
Yeah.
great as long as you have the right cast and stuff there. I
Yeah.
think, but I think Daggerheart, because it builds itself around the role play aspect so
yeah, if you
heavily,
like the role play, the improv,
even
all
if
the narrative,
even if I feel even if you're not generally a super confident RPer, it kind of drags you out of your shell a bit, and I think that's what's so good about it because you kind of have to.
And from a GM point of view, you're not railroading anyone. You still get to tell a story, but you get to tell it with
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah,
It's not just me sitting here just waxing lyrical about what I'm talking about.
yeah,
Everyone gets to be involved. And I think it'll actually help GMs that are struggling with that.
Yeah.
It'll help them get used to it.
that's something I've often noticed that I'm kind of like, am I talking too much? Should I let the players talk more? Am I not talking enough? And like it's
Yeah, I like sessions where I don't talk at all. So
yeah, they're great.
Oh god, they're the best. For me, when I'm like DM, and it's like yes, because
And when you can just sit back and just go, yeah,
it's
You're welcome.
but it's that moment when they fully engaged and connected with your sandbox that you've created, and they're in it, and it's just them, and I'm like, it's the best feeling ever.
and
My
that happens
players
a
had
lot.
a-
That happens a lot with this group and in
Yeah.
this game, which is great.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And my players had like a campfire moment where they like in Arcane Adventures about 4 sessions ago where they really clicked as a party, and I was sitting back like a proud parent. I was like, they're doing it.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna click D20 live.
Hmm.
So
Do
I
it.
think we are rating in how many? 12 years. So I'm gonna click raid now in a couple of seconds.
And meanwhile,
three,
thank you,
two,
chat, for
one.
joining us.
Guys, yeah,
We'll
thank
see
you
you
so
on
much.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Be nice to each other. Take care.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
guys.
And we are now raiding.